shooting lanes and carries one of the largest selections around. And speaking of the selection, YGC has the hottest firearms to accommodate individual preferences and the best prices in the area. Youngsville Gun Club and Range is conveniently located off US 1 in Youngsville, and for $10 off a Range card, use promo code SPORTS. Learn more at ygunrange.com. That's the letter Y, gunrange.com.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $200 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bet. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Terms and conditions apply.
The final shot at the Championship 4 comes down to a track that's been here from day one. Martinsville. NASCAR Playoffs weekend at Martinsville Speedway. November 1st through the 3rd. Get your tickets now at martinsvillespeedway.com.
When someone first comes in and you see that discouragement on their face, they've tried so many different products, but nothing seemed to work for them. I'm able to take that disappointment and that pain and turn it into hope.
You're listening to Mallory, an art support specialist at the Good Feet store.
And they try the arch supports. It's a light up moment. You see their face brighten up. They go from feeling discouraged to being happy and hopeful again.
For over 25 years, the Good Feet store and our arch support specialist have been helping folks live the life they love without foot, knee, hip, or back pain getting in the way.
That's why this job is so important. They're helping people, getting back into the activities that they've wanted to do for a long time, doing the things that they love to do with their Good Feet arch supports. We're able to help them and take them from the pain to the possibilities. And I love it.
The Good Feet store is in Raleigh, Chapel Hill, Fayetteville, and other locations across North Carolina. Visit goodfeet.com to book your appointment today, or just stop by the store nearest you.
It's Trick Out Your Wheels with Sound Station and Security. Our contestants are ruling the streets. Here come the bikes, and the bass is bumping. Sound Station and Security can hook up all your vehicles with amazing custom stereo systems and speakers. Does that golf cart have strobe lights? It sure does. Sound Station has tons of LED lighting options for your bike, ATV, and even golf cart, and we install it all.
If it's got wheels, Sound Station and Security has got you covered. In Raleigh, Smithfield, and myhotsound.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Raleigh's injury lawyers.
Bounces his way into the end zone. Touchdown!
Visit GotBrian.com.
That's GotBrian.com.
WCMC FM HD1 Holly Springs. Press play.
Third down and 9 at the Ohio State 48. Three receivers right, two left. Shotgun snap Gabriel, a two-man rush. Deep ball into single coverage, right side. Caught by Johnson, over his shoulder at the 10, to the 5. He drags Burke in for a touchdown. The victory they've awaited at Autzen Stadium is officially on. Dan Lanning and the Ducks, 32. Ryan Day and the Bucks, 31. In a battle of 2 versus 3, number 3 comes out on top in a Big Ten showdown at Eugene.
It's the Adam Gold Show. How you doing? I am Adam Gold. That is Victoria.
I'm back.
You are.
All my Halloween decorations are up now.
Oh, is that
so
what you did yesterday? Good for you. Good for you. So I got here yesterday, and Graham was here, and I like Graham a lot. I mean, Graham is great. But it was like, what happened?
I know.
So it's fine.
I know the guest that you had on yesterday let me know that I wasn't there.
You know, with Brooke Pryor.
They texted me, Brooke, Chip.
One of our favorites. Everybody misses you when you're not here. Nobody texts me when I'm not here. And that's fine. I'm okay. Believe it. I am fine.
Yeah.
Right?
I miss you when you're not here.
The feeling is mutual, but it doesn't, I don't need people to say, hey, why aren't you here?
Yeah.
I do get it on the off times where I don't do a Hurricanes game.
Sure. Yes.
But it's not about, are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
Is, okay, you're not doing the game. Are we still getting a podcast?
Yeah.
So I am up in the air. I'm not doing the game Saturday. Canes are in St. Louis Saturday. They leave on a road trip. We're actually going to start with the Canes today, which is, of course, not a shock. Canes play in Pittsburgh tomorrow. Then they will play in St. Louis on Saturday. And I might do the game on do the podcast Saturday night.
Okay.
Have not yet decided if I'm going to be able to watch the game. That's the thing.
Yeah.
If I can watch the game, then I will pop on and do a podcast in the evening. But I'm not sure I will be able to watch it. If I can, then we will. So it's sort of a to be determined. Real quick before we start. It's only we always have like random conversations. Sometimes at the beginning of the show, a lot of times in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about beignets the other day.
Yes.
Okay. And I said it's just a donut, and I stick to that. It's basically just a donut. So I was at. You're familiar with Rise,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Delicious.
Well, they have little. They make beignets.
Oh, do they?
Little bite-sized beignets.
Well, that's dangerous. I didn't know that.
Oh, heavens me.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
It was. I bit into one this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Took my son to the dentist, and on the way to dropping him off at.
Oh, how appropriate,
yeah,
too.
dropping off at the Y. Yeah, not before.
Right.
Not before. We stopped at Rise for breakfast, and I got one of a little order of the beignets, and I bit into it, and I laughed.
It was that good.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I laughed.
You know it's good when you laugh or cry.
I went, holy. And he said, what? I said, just try one. And he bit into it, and he got this smile on his face like,
yeah.
Holy cow, these are good.
It's
so anyway.
Delicious.
Yes. I'm not a paid endorser.
No.
But
you have taste buds, and they were delicious.
Like maybe the best $2.75 I've ever spent.
I could get down with that.
So anyway, that's my little plug to start the program. Let's go. Problem is, I'm hungry again.
Well, if it is small,
It's
then
not
yes.
good.
Yeah.
Not good. I don't really want to be hungry. All right, so just a little bit of Canes news, and then I want to play something for you that happened on Tuesday night that I did not hear until this morning, and I just think it's great. Some of you may have seen it or heard it already, and if you have, you'll still like it because it's great.
Mm-hmm.
So Carolina starting on their fried food road trip.
Yes.
The 6-game deep-fried Milky Way road trip through Pittsburgh, St. Louis, Edmonton, Calgary, Seattle, Vancouver, before coming home against Boston.
Oof.
Yeah, good. Boston is playing well. I think they blasted the Avalanche last night, who are 0-4.
I know.
By the way.
That's a turn of events. What? Yeah.
I think they have a minus 12 goal differential, too, which I guess you can get if you're 0-4, but they're like almost non-competitive 0-4. So before the Canes left, and when you go on a road trip like this, oftentimes you'll want to bring an extra defenseman. Carolina's been playing without a 7th defenseman on the roster since the start of the season, which admittedly is only 2 games and about a week. But they still want to carry a 7th defenseman, so they put Brendan Lemieux on waivers. We'll find out at 2 o'clock today whether Brendan Lemieux has cleared waivers. My guess is that he would clear waivers, much like Tyson Jost cleared waivers before the start of the season. Remember, this was all done so they could bring up Jackson Blake and at the same time accrue salary cap, additional salary cap room for the deadline. And right now, Carolina's got about $725,000 worth of usable deadline space, which, by the way, doesn't get you a player because the minimum salary is $775.
Yeah.
So you'd have to get help from another team. Anyway, so they're trying to build space. So they don't want to dip into the reserve that they have of Jesper Fast long-term injured reserve number, which is just under 2.4 now. So in order to keep Jackson Blake here, who makes more than $775,000, they'd have to waive another player. So they want to bring Riley Stillman up, carry him on the road. He's still right now on injured reserve. They haven't activated him yet, but he is now practicing with the team. out of a yellow non-contact jersey. And in order to bring Stillman, they want to send a salary down. You still have to pay Brendan Lemieux because he's on a one-way contract. But if he clears waivers, you can send him to the minor leagues. My guess is that he'll go to Chicago if he clears and play a handful of games. And then when the Hurricanes get back from the road trip, assuming that they're healthy, they'll send Stillman to Chicago and bring Lemieux back up. I think Rod wants him with the team.
Yeah.
But to do it, to get to where they want to be financially, they need to move a player out.
Have to play a little chess.
So, yeah, but there's something that they have done before. Another thing that they did a long time ago, and I assume they would do this with Jackson Blake is, and a lot of people won't see it because it's not going to be a move they'll announce, but oftentimes you'll see Jackson Blake has been assigned to Chicago of the American Hockey League. He hasn't been, but they have taken him off the NHL roster, so they might go a day or two without actually having to pay him an NHL salary, which I guess financially is not great for Jackson Blake.
Sure.
But at the same time, allows the team to compile a lesser salary cap hit because the NHL salary cap is tabulated daily as opposed to yearly. That's how you build additional deadline room because the cap is tabulated daily. So, don't be alarmed. We went through this with Jake Bean back when some of us believed that Jake Bean looked like an NHL player. Really not. But that's the only thing. So if you see that, Jackson Blake isn't going anywhere unless the head coach decides, however long into the season, yeah, it's too much for him. We need somebody else on that in that spot, which I don't think is going to happen because I think Jackson Blake's a heck of a player. Anyway, so there's that. We'll wait to see what happens with Brendan Lemieux and then Riley Stillman's elevation to the NHL roster. Hopefully Lemieux will not get snatched up by somebody else, but I think the Hurricanes are covered for veteran players, whether it's Tyson Jost or the player that came over from Finland, Juha Jaska, who really I thought had a very good training camp. They could assume a role similar to that of Brendan Lemieux, maybe minus the fighting. But in terms of an energy player that can, and actually Jaska can kill penalties because he killed penalties in the preseason. All right, I want you to hear this. So Jackson Blake scored his first NHL goal. We had him on yesterday, and Jackson was great until his phone died.
Oh, no good.
Yeah, it happens. We had a good time with Jackson. After the game, his first NHL goal, Rod Brindamore in the Hurricanes dressing room.
And the reason for it is for you guys, when we talk about stacking memories, and when you guys get older, you're going to be like, yeah, I know what he's talking about. Right now you're going, nut job. But I'm just telling you, life's about creating memories. And every time we talk about opportunities, every time you lace them up, there's a chance for it. And none of us will remember this game probably, but that guy will, for obvious reasons. You guys remember your first one. And I can remember mine. It gives me a little chills even thinking about it because I know how excited you are, and I also know how excited your family is. I'm sure they're watching, right? Like, I can just only imagine. So, we're going to start the tradition now. This is for you. You can give it to your dad. You can do whatever you want, but it's for when you're 20 years on the road, someday you're going to go to clean out your closet, and then you're going to go, and it's going to bring you right back to this moment here. Okay?
So, two things about the video. You go to the Hurricanes Twitter feed, you'll find it. Rod gets his steps in.
A lot of them, yes.
He is all over the place. He at one point gets in an athletic stance.
Yeah.
And by the way, Jackson Blake's father, Jason, played for, 15 years or so in the NHL. Played against Rod at one point. Jackson said that Rod was the one player who scared him.
No, nice.
Okay, Rod's
Fun
not scary.
fact.
And he's not that big. I mean, he's not small.
Right.
But he's not like 6'5". But he's talking, and Rod has said this before, but the memories that you create, like this is Jackson Blake's memory.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He'll always remember this day.
Big time.
And Rod said when he thought about it, doing this for Jackson, he goes, he thought about his own first goal that he scored, and he said it gave me chills. So this is a moment for you. It was just a very cool thing. And Rod is awesome at these post-game little workouts.
Yes.
Because he is nonstop all over
and
the
I'm
place.
sure Jackson will remember getting sandwiched in the surge, too.
Yes, it was fun.
He looked slightly terrified.
Oh, my gosh. It was great. All right. Let's get to some college football here. NC State and Florida. I just saw this from Brian Murphy, our friend from WRALSportsFan.com. NC State and Florida have canceled their 2-game home-and-home series that was set for 2026 here in Raleigh and 2032 in Gainesville. So I'm sure there are a lot of reasons for this, but I'm going to start with this one. This is just a question, not a reason, a question. Didn't I just hear Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, say, it's like last week, that the SEC, and in fact, college football in general, needed to figure out a way to play more high-profile games? Yes. So this is a perfect response to that. Canceling, I guess, is Florida NC State a high-profile game? Like, if you're Florida, I can see, NC State's whatever.
Yeah.
If you're NC State, maybe the name of Florida. Of course, the program right now is horrible.
Terrible.
I mean, they're going to fire Billy Napier, I'm sure, at the end of this season. Maybe before the end of this season. Anyway, these are the series, these are the games we need on the calendar. And we're getting rid of them. And it was a mutual agreement, apparently. Now, I wouldn't be completely shocked if this was an NC State-fueled departure, because State, remember, added Virginia as a non-conference opponent. And they will play those 2 games in 25 and 26. Now, I've made my feelings known about playing conference opponents as non-conference games, and I find it stupid.
Yeah.
Utterly stupid. Don't talk to me, but we should be playing Virginia more. There's a remedy for that. The league schedules more traditional rivalries, established opponents in the league. They schedule them more often. That's the remedy to that. UNC and Wake Forest, 2 years in a row playing non-conference games. Dumb. Not to mention confusing for a lot of people. Oh, wait a second. That didn't count in the league? Why not? It's a league team. I agree with you. Dumb. All right. I would rather, and by the way, State does play App, and they do play ECU in this span of time.
Right.
So I am not suggesting that they should schedule App or ECU, because they are. But, I mean, replace Florida with somebody, relatively rivalry-ish local. Replace it with South Carolina, right? They've played South Carolina before. Replace it with West Virginia. Heck, UConn is almost a member of the league already. They play everybody in the ACC. Schedule another game with UConn. I'm joking about that. I just hate playing conference opponents in non-conference games. Either make it a conference game or don't play it. Just don't play it. I think it's utterly silly that you're doing that. The whole point about non-conference games also, I know it's kind of weird, but hey, when we visit your place, it's a trip.
Right?
Someplace we haven't been.
They might have beignets, too.
They don't have them in Charlottesville.
No.
They don't have them in Charlottesville. All right. Real quick, the schedule. State is at Cal. By the way, here's a trip for you. Go to Berkeley.
Ah, yes.
Go to Berkeley. And then go into San Francisco and go check out Haight-Ashbury, which was one of my favorite spots. I did find this when I went to San Fran for the Super Bowl. I accidentally found Kezar Stadium, which is where the 49ers first played when they were an expansion franchise, which is a little It almost looks like a high school stadium. It's bigger, obviously,
Right.
but
That's why you fell upon it.
but it's in Haight-Ashbury.
Oh.
It's like a block and a half from that iconic photograph of Haight-Ashbury.
Interesting
Yeah.
name.
I was sat down for lunch at this like bar
Yeah.
in Haight-Ashbury.
Hey, what's that?
And right behind me there was a newspaper article about Kezar Stadium, and I'm reading it going, oh, wow, that's awesome.
That's right there.
Right, and I interviewed like the bartender and 2 other people, and I wrote my own story on it.
Nice.
Anyway, so yeah, go to Cal and then go visit. Duke host FSU on Friday night. That's Duke is a 3.5-point favorite, something like that. Wake is at UConn. See, I told you.
Yeah.
UConn might as well be in the league. Duke played them. Did State play UConn this year? I don't think so.
Don't think so,
Not
no.
this year.
Mm-mm.
They almost always do. ECU is at Army.
Oh.
Undefeated Army.
Oh.
I wonder how many Pirate fans are going to Mikey Stadium. As beautiful a setting as there is on earth for college football. All right, so that's your local college football, at least FBS schedule for the weekend. All right, I have a question.
Yes.
What are the chances Durham gets Major League Baseball?
Yeah,
Hold on,
great.
hold 1 second. We know Raleigh is trying to get Major League Baseball, right?
Yes.
Like actively,
trying, yes.
Tom Dundon is he's got the gears turning.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding is Dundon is dead serious about it, and that Raleigh is on a short list for Major League Baseball. Kid you not, right? I've said this before. I do not support baseball, Major
Right.
League Baseball in the Triangle. It would be the one of the thrills of my lifetime to be able to once again, on a day in, day out basis, have baseball where I live.
I would love
Major
that.
League Baseball. I shouldn't say baseball because we have plenty of baseball.
Mhm.
Minor league baseball, college baseball at high levels.
And I've never experienced it because I've lived here my whole life.
Yeah,
So
right?
that would be fun.
So, I mean, growing up in the New York area, growing up a Mets fan, baseball was my first and for the most part, my only real love of professional sports. And I haven't had it since I moved away from Baltimore. I would love nothing more than Major League Baseball to be in Raleigh.
Yeah.
I have often argued that I just don't know how it's going to work. Financially, how does it work? Because you've got major league franchises in the Carolina Hurricanes, UNC basketball and football, NC State basketball and football, Duke basketball, and maybe football. They're the
Yeah,
only good
yeah.
football team
Sure
in the
this
Triangle. So I know those are colleges, but they are treated like professional franchises. Advertising, suites. We have finite corporate wealth here. Of course, it's greater now than it was 5-10 years ago. I still question whether there's enough. We also have NCFC, which plays at the second tier of American soccer in USL. We also have the NWSL, right? So there are other local, professional clubs who are looking for advertising dollars, right? They are trying to sell corporate packages and all of that. And that has always been my issue. Can we afford it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we might be getting a trial run. Milton, the hurricane in Florida, did a ton of damage to the Tampa-St. Pete area,
Right.
including ripping the roof off of Tropicana Field. Most of you might be aware of the story by now.
Mm-hmm.
But their roof, which is actually a fabric, which was said to have been stronger than glass.
It's supposed to be.
Well, glass breaks.
It does.
So, but the fabric has been completely torn off. It would take close to a year to repair that. But they also think that there has been damage to the like the inside of the stadium. So they have to have like an engine, like a team of engineers in to find out if there is any structural damage. But they don't believe that they'll be able to play at a minimum for 3 months during the season in Tropicana Field. They think it could be as much as 2 years being away. They are set to move into a new ballpark in 2028 in Tampa. So, where to play? Well, your AAA team, your top minor league team, plays in one of the great AAA ballparks in the United States.
Beautiful park.
Durham Bulls Athletic Park. Seats 10,000.
Yep.
Could the Rays move here for 3 months, a year, 2 years? I guess they could.
That'd be fun.
Right? So
makes sense anyway.
Theoretically, it would. It's not Tampa.
No.
It's, an 11-hour drive, probably 12-hour drive.
Well, seeing the attendance that they were getting there, I don't think a lot of people would miss it.
See, I was going to bring that up.
Yeah.
Their attendance, they probably average in the neighborhood of, maybe just under 20,000. Well, that's still a lot more than the 10,000 that Durham Bulls Athletic Park holds. You could put temporary seating on the concourses. It would take out some of the amenities. There's the covered deck that they use.
Right.
You could put seats there. You could probably you could build temporary bleachers in the outfield grass area, right? You could just drive seats right into the grass.
Sure.
So there are ways, and they already have seats above the Blue Monster, right in front of the restaurant.
Yep.
Right? And maybe they could sell those. Maybe you could build a bleacher. It would be a bummer for the people in the restaurant who have basically had, in some ways, actually, I don't know if they charge people for, or if the Bulls get a part of that from the restaurant.
Free baseball game with dinner.
You know what happened at Wrigley Field? Your Cubs, right? The apartment buildings across Sheffield, I think it was Sheffield or Waveland Avenue behind Wrigley Field. People used to just go up there.
Yep.
Right? And now the Cubs get it cut because those people are selling tickets.
And they sell a lot of tickets,
oh, my gosh,
too.
Absolutely. Look, they put seats on the Monster after the Green Monster in Boston. After having no seats there forever. They went, people will sit here.
We could make money with
this. People will sit here. So they could probably increase the capacity at DBAP to about 15,000. Which that might be cool, right? But there's a lot of stuff they can do probably inside to jack up a little bit of the corporate money. And this is a long way of getting back to this, because it could be a way for the Triangle to show that Major League Baseball can work here. And I will just submit this as an example. Do you think there is a chance that when the NBA was looking for a home for the Seattle Supersonics, that Oklahoma City would have been a consideration had they not hosted the New Orleans Pelicans? Actually, then it was the Hornets, right? That when they were hosting the Hornets for 2 years because of Hurricane Katrina.
Right.
And it turned out Oklahoma City dug NBA basketball.
Right. You never know.
Seattle moved to Oklahoma City when the Sonics ditched Seattle. I'm just saying, maybe this is a way for Raleigh to show its worth.
Yeah. Oh, I guarantee those those games would sell out too. If we had Major League here, 100% would sell out. Every time.
A second.
Yes.
So, I leave you with that, and we didn't even have to talk about the fact that the Mets lost 8-0 yesterday. All right.
There's that. No, never mind. That never happened.
When we come back, a legend of NC State basketball, my friend, your friend, Julius Hodge, who is now a head basketball coach. Jules joins us next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
It's fire sale time for the Panthers. This season is a wash, so go ahead and look at your roster. Pick your untradables. Maybe J.C. Horn, Derek Brown, some of the rookies. Everybody else, put up the for sale sign. Move some closer to the street at the garage sale so everybody knows their price to move. But you have to start thinking about the future. This season's a wash.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and we are here. Week 7 of the NFL starts tonight, and it is Sean Payton's return to New Orleans. Broncos and Saints. Alvin Kamara is probably going to go hog wild, although New Orleans, an underdog at home. Oh, is that intriguing? New customers, get intrigued. Bet $5, win $5. Get $300 in bonus bets. If you win, that is good for you. FanDuel.com/AdamGold, FanDuel.com/AdamGold. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Wow, you look fantastic. I love all the sparkle.
It's your fault. You introduced me to jewelry television. I can't stop watching.
Right. The prices are amazing.
I know. There are so many different styles, and the color gemstone jewelry. Are you kidding me? Gorgeous.
And did you notice JTV also has gifts for men? I got Jake an Invicta watch that he loves.
New JTV customers receive $40 off their next purchase when they shop jtv.com/radio.
Who are you texting?
I'm not. I'm shoppingjtv.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
$5, that's a deal, yeah. McDonald's money, I got McDonald's money. One meal just to make me feel better. All I wanna know is, can I get a hot and spicy patty, the McNuggets so crisp, and the fries go to yellow, yeah, McDonald's don't miss, yeah. Order app or the drive-thru quick, yeah. $5, that's a deal, yeah. I got McDonald's money.
At participating McDonald's.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL-TV's 11 o'clock news.
This is Adam Gold.
Maybe at some point, after repeated losing, David Tepper will get out of the way.
Yeah, it's going to be on my Christmas list every year until it happens. So, there.
I wish I could give you that.
I wish
I could put a bow around that for you, Victoria.
Me too.
The Adam Gold Show.
Julius Hodge has been a coach for about the last 10 years. Spent some time at Santa Clara, I believe, with the legendary former NC State basketball coach Herb Sendek. But now, for the first time, and I have been waiting for this moment, head coach Julius Hodge, Lincoln University. They will be at Cameron Indoor Stadium on Saturday afternoon for an exhibition with the Duke Blue Devils. Coach Julius Hodge, I am thrilled for you. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I appreciate that introduction.
I don't know. I feel like I might be more into this. I'm definitely not more into this than you are, but I can feel how great this is. I've always thought that you were an incredible student of the game, and I don't think you can get to be where you are right now without being that student of the game and understanding the history. But before we get to this matchup and all that, I want to go back and I want to say that who knew that the next up conference would have such immediate results? I know you were in town this May for the Lavelle Moton, Mike Tomlin-led next up conference to connect black coaches with potential, future advancement. I don't know what role that played. My guess is that it's relatively significant. So talk to me how the whole thing happened.
Yes, absolutely. So it was a conference, obviously, Coach Lavelle Moton and Coach Mike Tomlin put together. And Lavelle thought of me. I was one of the first people that he thought of. So I knew about it when it was, just his idea. And then for him to be able to work it and bring it to fruition, that was awesome. So for me to attend and basically be able to be granted this opportunity because of my relationship with Coach Moen, and then being able to go there and meeting with our athletic director, Harry Stinson, and then me and him just hitting it off. Eventually, it's awesome.
Yeah, and I texted Val after you and I arranged this. He's excited for you. And you're in his old stomping grounds because, he was a CIAA legend, and Lincoln won the CIAA a year ago. So you've had some success against Duke, maybe not a ton of success. Nobody has a ton of success against Duke if your name isn't, like Tyler Hansbrough. But what are your thoughts about bringing a team into Cameron on Saturday?
It is a great opportunity for our young men, and I've just been letting them know this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So let's make sure we take full advantage of it. And this is something you'll be able to tell your kids, 10, 20 years from now that you are a part of. So our guys are definitely excited.
And you bring a lot of players back from the team that won the CIAA championship a year ago. So it's an experienced group.
Yes, absolutely. Our point guard, who actually hails from my high school alma mater, Reggie Hudson, he's back. We have basically our starting five. Everyone's returning. We have 9 seniors. We have a couple of young players in the fold who are also very talented. And we know for our level that we're going to have, we suppose on paper have a good team, right? We're 0-0 right now, so I don't know. I have no idea what's happening. But the guys are definitely excited. And, I told the guys, just make sure you go out there and you compete. Compete every possession because you never know what can happen.
Julius Hodge is joining us here as the head basketball coach at Lincoln University. The Lions will be taking on the Blue Devils. Now, they're a young team. 6 or 7 freshmen. They do have some older players, some transfer portal guys in, but they're a young team, and they have nobody smaller than 6'4" on the roster. But you guys don't look too small.
Yeah. We have size, but come on, you're talking about Duke, man. It's the top team in the country, right? Perennially, right? They always have a grenade of talent, and obviously Coach Shire and staff has been doing a really good job. So we don't have that many guys that tall, all right? But our guys are extremely strappy, high basketball IQs, and guys are definitely ready for this opportunity.
Julius Hodge is joining.
See, Adam, I'm not giving any bulletin board material. Okay, it's not going to happen.
Did you believe in that?
Now, so
did you believe you didn't? Did you believe in bulletin board material as a player?
No, I was fired up to play any game in basketball, so it didn't matter.
How do you translate that? Because I always felt like your work ethic, your passion for the game. How do you translate that to your players?
I think it first starts with discipline. So I had no idea I was going to be a disciplinary head coach.
Yeah.
But it seems I had to walk through the door being that way to make sure everybody got on the same page. But in terms of just having that fight and that grit and wanting to be a great player and carrying yourself, not just as a great player, but also a great student in everything you do on and off the court, I think it's something you just got to have in you. I can push, I can motivate, I can teach as much as I want, but if student athletes don't want that, it's not going to happen. But, I've been fortunate that I have a group that are hungry to get better.
Julius Hodge is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. I remember when the CIAA, first of all, I mean, the tournament was always a great party, but the CIAA has incredible roots in the sport. You go back to some of the legends who played like at Winston-Salem State, the Pearl, right? You are talking about some truly great legendary basketball players. Are any of these guys aware of the basketball roots in the CIAA?
No, absolutely. Our guys definitely know the history of the league, and they've been teaching me some as well. But our guys are definitely, we have a group of guys who know the history, who really knows the game, and it's important to them to make sure that they're holding themselves to the standard of the CIAA. So it's great to see.
Julius Hodge is joining us here. What can you tell them about your trips to Cameron? Because it's not one of those giant buildings. It is a comfortable basketball environment, and as I've seen, it is a friendly shooting gym, especially to visiting players. So what have you told them about Cameron?
Well, I can only wish that it's a great shooting experience for my team, right? In terms of my experience there, the only place where I ever was in foul trouble, right? Every time I went, I'm guarding Chris Duhon, who was not attacking off the dribble, but I always end up in foul trouble, right? It Cameron Indoor. It is what it is. No, but seriously, I just tell our guys just to be ready to fight through adversity. You're going to be playing against really talented players. Basically, the second coming of Larry Bird is what everybody's saying, yeah. Mr. Cooper Flag. So, guys, it's going to be extremely tough, right? But I just want to make sure that our guys are competitive and we're fighting back, right? This is a Duke team that's, arguably at some point they're going to be, the number one rated team in the country, and they're going to be beating ACC teams by a ton of points. So just make sure you're ready for this opportunity. You step up to it, and anything can happen.
Why did you want to start your coaching journey here? That's a serious question. I apologize for a serious question, but yes. I know that completely caught you off guard. I've been smiling through this whole thing. But why did you start? I mean, it's a city school, right? You're a city kid. You grew up. You grew up in New York. So this is Philly, but there's a lot of similarities between the two cities, even though they basically hate each other. But why did you why did you want this as a way to start your coaching journey?
So first off, I would say, just being an assistant coach for almost a decade, as an assistant coach, you're the flag bearer of the head coach's vision, right, and his program. I did a really good job of that. So I did a really good job for a long time of being a follower to great leaders. So in return, I was able to gain all of that experience and basically just be sitting and waiting for the right opportunity. And then the right opportunity came here at Lincoln University, where I was, first thing I did, I looked at the roster, and 12 of the 15 guys were from New York, New Jersey.
Right.
Right. We have New York City guys from Newark, all throughout Jersey, and Pennsylvania, Philly. So to me, it's a tough team. They're really gritty, and these guys just play hard, and they want to win, and they want to learn. And I'm one of those guys, right? I'm a former New York City guy, right? I'm more North Carolina now, but being a New York City player, I know these mentalities and I know how to coach them and to coach them the right way. So once this opportunity, arose, I knew I had to take advantage of it.
How many either former teammates or even guys you played against reached out to either congratulate you or offer advice as you start your head coaching career here? How many guys reached out who left an impression on you?
Oh, man, most of my teammates, former college teammates reached out, professional teammates, Vince, Marcus Camby, one of my former AAU teammates who's now an assistant coach for the Houston Rockets and who was the head coach this past summer in the Olympics, Royale Ivy, for the South Sudan team. We talk all the time. We're always talking basketball philosophy and strategy. He has some great things to say, but, obviously Coach Moulton, a ton of people have been reaching out. And myself, I will call everybody and anybody. I'm okay if you don't answer the phone. I'm okay if I hear a no. I would just go to the next name in my Rolodex, but I'm constantly looking to learn.
Julius Hodge. All right, final thing. The coaches you worked under or played under, who left the biggest impression on you and stuff that you will take with you on your journey?
So in terms of running the program, I think that's obviously Coach Sendek.
Right.
Being as detailed and professional and just bringing it every single day is definitely Coach Sendek in that regard in terms of running a full program. Offensively, I would go with Coach John Prelu. I was with him during my time at San Jose State. We did not gather a ton of wins, but in terms of taking things from drill form, first teaching it, and then going into drill form, and then basically the guys, they don't even know it, but they've been going over offense for the past 30 minutes. But the way he puts it in drills, it's easy for guys to learn it.
Right.
So I definitely took a lot of that in terms of being able to put my entire system out there and having guys pick it up fairly quickly. But I would have to say those two.
All right. Now, will you have guys chop wood? Will there be day-tight compartments? And will there be Coke and Hoagie games?
No, there will be no chopping of the wood, okay? There will be no Princeton offense being ran. No, none of that. But no, bringing it every single day matters. Every today matters. You have to put your best foot forward, whether we're going out at halftime of homecoming to be presented and honored by our crowd and by the university, or we're in there at 5 a.m., 4:45 a.m. We're watching film. We're starting practice at 5, and I'm probably a little pissed because practice the day before didn't go well. So I'm starting the guys out running 10:22s. It's just making sure mentally you're doing the right things every day, and you're in it mentally. Then that's how you'll be able to continue to succeed and get better. So I'm loving the opportunity.
Oh man, I'm loving it for you, Julius Hodge. The head coach for the Lions at Lincoln University in Philly. They'll be at Cameron Indoor Stadium at 1 o'clock on Saturday. I am sick that I cannot be there.
Yeah, I called you.
I know.
One of the first people I called. Hey, Adam, I got tickets for you, and you shut me down, right?
Yeah.
Now, if I shot the world, now you go, I should have been there, right? But,
well, I will tell everybody that I was there. I will tell everybody that I was there. But I am going to, if I could buy, I don't know, I'll buy a pass to watch all your games online. But I'm a Lion. I am a Lion through and through for you. I will talk to you soon, Julius. I wish you the best on Saturday and throughout the season, but I'll be bugging you.
Thanks for having me, Adam.
Like, no joke. I got a text from Jules, I don't know, 10 days ago, and he said to me, I put you on our media credential list. Like, he said he did.
Right, yeah.
And in his job. He said, "Can you come?" And I just said, "I'm going to be out of town. I can't." So I am bummed that I can't be there to watch Jules in his first game as a head coach. But, man.
You'll be there in spirit.
Absolutely. I'll be sitting next to him in spirit. So anyway, I wish the Lions well against the Blue Devils in an exhibition on Saturday at Cameron Indoor Stadium. When we come back, we got One-Timers Q&A next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
I am Bruno Hinojosa and I live in Asheville. I work in construction and I just enrolled in NC Medicaid. I went to their website, applied, and got covered. Doctor visits, yearly checkups, and even emergency care if I need it. Being a business owner can be stressful at times, but knowing that I got covered, it just takes weight off my shoulders. And I can get the care that I need when I need it at low or no cost. And it's one less thing I need to worry about now.
NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
Trust ACT Construction Equipment and Bandit Wood Chippers and Stump Grinders to position your tree service for success. ACT Construction Equipment is your authorized dealer for sales, service, parts, and rentals for Bandit Wood Chippers and Stump Grinders. ACT Construction Equipment has been your authorized dealer for Bandit equipment for over 10 years. Visit one of our 6 North and South Carolina locations or actce.com for more details on Bandit Wood Chippers and Stump Grinders. ACT Construction Equipment, always the right equipment for the job.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power. Whether you're home or away, power your life with a Generac home standby generator. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
Kamala Harris gets that everyday costs are too high. She has real plans to tackle price gouging, cut taxes for middle-class families, and make life more affordable. Her opponent's plan?
Donald Trump plans to impose what is, in effect, a national sales tax on everyday products. It will mean higher prices on just about every one of your daily needs. A Trump tax on gas, a Trump tax on food, a Trump tax on clothing, a Trump tax on over-the-counter medication. Donald Trump's plan would cost a typical family $3,900 a year. When everyday prices are too high, he will make them even higher.
Kamala Harris, a better plan for lowering costs for a future we can afford. Paid for by FFPAC, ffpac.org, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. FFPAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
The 2024 elections are just around the corner, and older voters are the nation's most active. The AARP North Carolina Voters Guide has information about upcoming election dates, registration deadlines, and voting options in North Carolina, such as voting by mail, early voting, or voting with a disability. Find the guide in the voters section at aarp.org/NC and listen each week to AARP Without Limits for important election news and much more. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Psst. Hello there. It's me, your internal clock. Yes, the one you sleep through on weekends. You've probably heard my TikToks, but I'm straight up sounding the bell now. It's almost time to start applying for college. That means you got transcripts to gather, letters of rec to request, and campus tours to schedule. But hey, we got time, and we've got CFNC. CFNC.org can help us plan, apply, and pay for college. We got this, trust me. Just visit CFNC.org to help us stay on time.
Visiting the North Carolina Zoo in Asheboro is a family tradition, perfect for fun outdoor adventure. Founded in 1974, this year marks North Carolina Zoo's 50th anniversary, and the zoo is celebrating all year long. Enjoy the antics of the baboon babies, take a ride on the endangered species carousel, and wonder at the massive elephants of the Watani grasslands. Make cherished family memories today. Plan your trip at nczoo.org. Open 7 days a week in Asheboro.
This is Adam Gold.
While I'm watching Colombia-Uruguay, not only the end of that match, but the fight in the stands after it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Heard it got spicy.
That was the most excited fans we have seen in 5 years at Bank of America Stadium. Man, look at all the happy people at Bank of America.
Just took the other kind of football.
Yeah, there you go. More of that.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold, Victoria, producing the program. We'll talk a little NFL football top of the hour. Also, Brett Friedlander next hour on not just the ACC's critical weeks coming up as it pertains to the college football playoff. We'll get into that. We'll also talk a little ACC hoops with Brett, as he is, of course, the ACC columnist for Saturday Down South. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Very quickly, before one-timers, App State, Georgia State in Boone, October 26th. And they will play that game as scheduled. Kickoff 1 o'clock. Homecoming events, I guess it's a homecoming weekend. Homecoming events have been postponed until November 23rd. So
wow.
There.
Yeah. I'm surprised that they're still able to do stuff. I mean, I know it's a slow progress up there, but
the Liberty game was, I guess, canceled.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe they are asking that people who bought tickets to that don't ask for their money back so they can donate all that money to the relief effort. With that said, one-timers.
Well, speaking of football, we have an NFL game tonight. One of the...
We do. I will not watch. Maybe. It really all depends.
I'll let you know what happens.
I'll be focusing on a different game.
Yes, there is that other game going on as well. A couple of those other games.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of injuries on the Saints side. So the Saints are taking on the Broncos. Broncos are coming to New Orleans. So there's some injuries on the Saints side. Bo Nix looks like he's picking up steam with the Broncos. So could you see this rookie getting a win on the road, or do you think the Saints will somehow prevail tonight?
Saints are super banged up to the point where I'm pretty sure New Orleans is a better team than Denver.
Yes.
New Orleans is a home underdog.
Oh.
Very, very slight home underdog, but a home underdog nonetheless. I just want Sean Payton to lose in his return to New Orleans.
Yeah, I know. That would be good.
So that's what I want. That's what I want. I'm leaving it at that.
It's like placing your bet. You're buying a loss for them.
I want that.
Well, moving on to another football team that there's some question marks with. So Davante Adams will be back with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Do you think because of their history, they'll be able to mesh quickly to where he'll be a threat in Sunday's game versus the Steelers?
No, I don't. I think we are now 4 years removed from a much younger Aaron Rodgers and an under 30 Davante Adams. I wish them both well.
Yes. Exactly. Well, last but not least, you did mention some other games going on today, and we won't bring up the Mets just in case, but do you think the Guardians can actually clean up their game and grab their first win today, or are the Yankees just too dominant?
I think the Yankees are going to win that series in 5. So whether the Yankees win today or the next 2 after that, that's what I think. Dodgers could do the same thing, by the way. You mentioned the Jets, Victoria. There is a real crisis at JetLife Stadium. Next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here. You know me. I want to help you. So let me help you. Are you a glasses or contact lens wearer? I will do the same for you as I did for me. And I made my life easier about a dozen years ago. I went to see Dr. Lori Travers at Travers LASIK. She is the only LASIK specialist in the Triangle, and she took me from 2250 to 20/20 vision back a little bit more than a dozen years ago. I have never looked back, pardon the pun, and people ask me a lot. As a matter of fact, somebody came up to me at the hockey game the other day and said, "Did it really work? Should I do this?" And I said, well, if you don't want to wear contact lenses and search for your glasses all the time for the rest of your life, yes, you should do this. 919-510-6830, TraversLASIK.com. Here are other reasons. Totally painless, 5 minutes per eye, could go back to work the very next day, and 2 years 0-interest financing is available. 919-510-6830. TraversLasik.com. See what you've been missing.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
The Blue Devils up 21-20, and they got their arms reaching for that bell.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Med, Sammy's Tap and Grill, and Roofworks.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling. We do the job right every time.
I'm Drake May, quarterback at UNC. Trust the team at Mitchell Heating and Cooling for your HVAC needs. Together we win. Call Mitchell Heating and Cooling today.
Contact us now at mitchellhvac.com or 919-556-5069. Train. It's hard to stop a train.
The best solutions every time.
Veterans, you've served our country. Now it's time to serve your future. Why carry the weight of high-interest debt when you can use your home's equity to wipe it out before January? Hey, it's Dennis Cox from my friends at Loan Pronto. If you're a veteran, Loan Pronto's VA Equity Advantage program lets you access 100% of your home's equity, so you can pay off high-interest credit cards, car loans, and more. Imagine pulling out tens or even hundreds of thousands with no junk fees and no hassle, and locking in an APR in the fives. Most veterans using Loan Pronto save over $800 a month. Plus, if you're stuck with a high mortgage rate, ask about our VA Streamline Refi with no income verification and no appraisal required. Loan Pronto is committed to honoring your service. Call now and take control of your financial future before the new year begins. Call 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
From the Canes to the Panthers to all of the college sports in the Triangle, we cover it all on the Best of the Drive with Tim Donnelly podcast. Brought to you by Coach Pete at Capital Financial Advisory Group. Visit us at capitalfinancialusa.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, North Carolina's injury lawyers.
Visit GotBrian.com.
That's GotBrian.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
This is the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
No, I'm like you, and I don't say this to be flip, but late in the first half, when Canales starts calling timeouts, the Falcons are going into the end zone. I'm like, whoa, this is super smart. This is galaxy brain stuff. He's taking timeouts to give Andy Dalton the ball back. And then I was like, no, that's a thing a normal team does in this situation. That's a thing that ordinarily happens in the NFL when people have confidence in their quarterbacks to move their team downfield. But it's because it's been a minute since they've been in a position to do stuff like that. When you see it for the first time again, it's like, whoa, how about this revolutionary strategy?
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Hi, everybody. We are available on YouTube.
Yes.
So you can see my face and put a face with a voice or a lack of height with a voice. You do whatever you want.
It's okay. You can't tell. You're sitting down.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. It always looks like I'm sitting down. You go to youtube.com/Adam Gold Show. You can go 99.9 The Fan. You can stream the show live. Show is also available in podcast form when we're done. Mostly interviews, but you never know. We could have wild commentary. We're about to. if you rate us and review us, and we want you to share and like and do all those things you would do with other podcasts. Tell your friends. As a matter of fact, if you bring 5 friends, I'll give you a copy of the home game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
They don't have that anymore.
Incentive. No,
They don't have that. I don't believe like the game shows. There's no home games anymore.
Oh.
We used to play the home version of Family Feud all the time.
Oh,
I kid you not.
Love Family Feud.
Yeah, great home version game. Anyway, I digress. But here, find us on the socials.
Yeah, we're
here.
here.
Or you can hit us up on Twitter at @AGoldFan, at _the_2.
There's a 2 in there. Yeah.
_Ictoria.
V to the Ictoria with some underscores in there.
Right. There
Yes, that's me.
I got it.
Yes.
All right, let's. I wanted to address the real crisis at, I'll call it Jet Life Stadium, because that's what the current crisis person, the crisis actor, if you will, to
rough.
twist that phrase, has called it Jet Life Stadium. It is called MetLife, of course, but I kind of do dig the differentiator there, because for the most part, people think of it as Giant Stadium, because for years the Jets used to play in Giant Stadium. Of course, for the most part, I think they kind of called it the Meadowlands, because that's where it was in East Rutherford, in the swamps of East Rutherford, New Jersey. So we know the Jets have added Davante Adams, and we could talk about. And you asked a question in one-timers about Adams and Rodgers rekindling that old magic. To me, the word old matters there, because Rodgers is 40, Adams is 32. And I'm not saying that Davante Adams isn't still an excellent receiver, but he is not that guy anymore. He's not one of the top probably 15 receivers in the NFL. Maybe he's in the bottom edge of that, but he used to be one of the top 2 or 3. So he's not the same guy, nor is Rodgers the same guy. And the Jets' offensive line is kind of or bad. So the chances of those 2 guys looking anything like they did 4 years ago, probably not great. But that isn't the real crisis going on.
No.
At Jet Life Stadium. So how many people have heard of Fireman Ed? And, of course, there are people out there going, yeah, I know who Fireman Ed is, because the NFL has done a very good job of creating a fan for each team, although I'm not sure I could point any out for other teams.
Yeah, the Panthers for a long time. Now his son has taken the reins, but we have Catman. We used to have him, and he would have this like black and blue crazy hair. It almost looks like troll hair, but it's, and he would have this whole getup and stuff. But when he passed away, his son took over. So that would be for the Panthers.
There you go, Catman. But the Jets have Fireman Ed.
Right, with hat and all.
with the fire hat. He's actually a retired New York fireman. Like no joke, an actual fireman. He and his brother, who I don't know if his brother is still alive. I really don't. But they were a team, except that Fireman Ed was the star of the show, and I will explain why in a minute. Anyway, Fireman Ed feels, maybe, I don't know that this has anything to do with Davante Adams.
Right.
It probably doesn't. Fireman Ed feels left out.
Hey, I've been getting a lot of emails and texts from fans about the Jet experience in the stadium with the big screens. Last night in particular, although on the Denver game also, last night in particular, we scored a touchdown. And normally, as a tradition, we're always put on a screen. Me, Scott, and Jetman are put on a screen to do the Jet chant and get the crowd going, which is a staple in Jet Life Stadium. Also, on the defensive end, which is the most important, normally they will put us on the screen to get the crowd going. It gives them more of a widespread experience for the fans to see, and we can get the defensive chant going. But something's going on in the Jet production team over in Jet Life Stadium. I don't know exactly what's going on, but they're phasing us out. And I'd like to know if somebody knows anything, please let me know, because it's evident that it's happening and it needs to stop, because we need home field advantage. That's what we have, and we need to keep it going. So something's going on. Please let me know if you know something. Thanks a lot. Go Jets.
First of all, a total miss there. He should have done the Jets, Jets.
He should have,
chant
yes.
right there. But that's a mistake. That was all on Instagram, by the way, and that was Fireman Ed. I can vouch for that being Fireman Ed, not just because it was on his Instagram, but I know Fireman Ed.
Yeah.
All right, I will explain that in a minute. But the Jet experience, right? And when we score a touchdown, we're normally on the screen. They don't score a lot of touchdowns. Maybe they forgot.
Yeah.
Like, what do we do here? We haven't done this in a minute.
Yeah.
So they only scored 11 touchdowns last year? I don't know, something stupid.
Not a
something
lot.
stupid low. So maybe they just forgot. Sounds like a fan that feels unwanted.
I know.
It's very sad.
He's heartbroken.
Very sad. This whole thing is hysterical to me. I love the fact that he's going on Instagram to plead to other Jet. If you know what's going on, please let me know.
Inform me.
Look, coaches who have been successful at franchises stop winning games and they get fired. Right?
Yeah.
They stop winning games and they get fired. Ron Rivera took the Panthers to a Super Bowl.
He did.
Right? And it ran its course.
Yep.
Maybe Fireman Ed isn't quite the fan he used to be, and Woody Johnson recognizes that, and maybe he's thinking, we need maybe another, I don't know, first responder.
Yeah.
Maybe we need somebody who is a
EMT Emily.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. We need an EMT.
They need to resuscitate the
Or
team.
maybe somebody from the Coast Guard. Somebody else to be that fan.
Fighter pilot Fred. I don't know.
Fred rhymes with Ed. Very good. Maybe they want an active fireman.
Yeah.
Right? Because at the time, and I kid you not, I won't go any longer with this than I have to. I've probably gone too long anyway.
I like this Jets talk anyway.
It's much more entertaining than the Jets.
It is.
So everybody by this time knows, because I let you know every time we talk about the Jets, that I am a former Jets fan. I really don't care about them anymore. I try to impress that upon you all the time. Just like I don't care about the University of Maryland. That's where I went to school. Whatever they do, they do. I've already been critical of them on Twitter for ditching the ACC and having no soul at all in any of their games. So we used to have Jet season tickets. We go back to 1974 was the first year that as a family we had season tickets to the Jets. They played in Shea Stadium. I even know the box we sat in, 110J. So it was section 110, box J, the lower bowl, and for a lot of the we'll just call it premium seats. They weren't that expensive back in the day because sports was not a high ticket item back in the day. But we were in the section 110 lower bowl on about the 25-yard line, we were the 10th box up, and we had 2 seats in that box. Fireman Ed and his brother were 4 boxes in front of us, 1 over to the left.
Okay.
So they were like 108G. I'm just guessing. I don't know exactly what box. Very close. And as far as I can remember, Fireman Ed would get on his brother's shoulders.
Oh, boy.
Right? His brother was also a New York City fireman.
Yeah.
And they would do the JETS, and he would make the sign of the J and it was the most as a kid, I loved it.
Right.
Because when he got on his brother's shoulders, the entire stadium would go silent. And I'm like, this is wild.
Oh, wow.
I mean, complete silence.
You can get a bunch of New Yorkers to be silent?
55,000 of them at a time. The Jets football sold a lot of tickets, I guess. So, completely silent.
That's crazy.
And then he would go, and it was awesome. Really, there was a time where Fireman Ed was like, that was a guy.
Celebrity.
Right? Well, he wasn't a celebrity then. The NFL and the Jets made him a celebrity. And as I responded to somebody on Twitter, when the NFL had this super fan thing, I don't know how many years ago it was, the Jets named him, Fireman Ed, their super fan, and they comped him season tickets. For like 20 years, 30 years, he's been comped season tickets. He didn't have to pay for PSLs when they moved, when they went to a PSL deal. He didn't have to pay for it. The team just gave him season tickets. So the team has entitled just a normal dude. So that's why Fireman Ed, who comes from humble means, would act like, I can't believe they're phasing me out.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I am, but yeah, it was incredible to like, not quite as close as you and I are in terms of like linear feet.
Right.
We're what, 15 feet away?
Yeah.
It's maybe 25 feet from where I was at every Jets game. He and his brother, who had their own 2 seats in a box,
Right.
would do the JETS, Jets.
Well, I guess 3 seats if he's sitting on his brother's shoulders. Like,
Right. And by the way, when they moved us to New Jersey, we ended up with better seats than Fireman Ed. But whatever.
There you go.
I hated going to the Meadowlands.
phasing him out.
Hated going to the Meadowlands. All right. One other development in the NFL. Tom Brady is now a part owner of a team.
Yep.
Right. He is part owner. I think he owns 5% of the Las Vegas Raiders. First, Mark Davis, who is the principal owner of the Raiders, on the role Tom Brady will have.
You know, it's kind of putting the cart before the horse. We wanted to get to this point first before we started defining anything of that nature and all that. But it's just exciting. What I was going to say is we traded Devontae Adams for Tom Brady in a third-round pick. And although Tom can't play, I think he can help us select a quarterback in the future and potentially train him as well. So it's a huge benefit to the organization.
Wait, did he say potentially trade him as well? That's hysterical.
Just threw that out there.
I'm sorry. I find it funny that they don't know what Tom Brady's role is going to be.
Exactly.
We have no
they
idea.
just want him.
We want Tom.
We want to phase him in.
He's going to be here to shake hands.
Yeah.
So, whatever. All right. Now, an owner of a team creates maybe some complications if you are Fox's #1 game analyst. By the way, they'll do the Super Bowl this year. And here's what the commissioner, Roger Goodell, had to say about rules.
Tom's been abiding by the issues that we raised through the committee voluntarily since he began his broadcasting. So that's all been resolved. It's being followed very clearly, and everyone seems to be satisfied with that.
All right. Well, I thought there would be some specifics there, but basically he's not going to be allowed to watch teams practice. There are going to be restrictions on the information he is allowed to get. Here's my question. How can he, legitimately do his job without these?
Yeah. It's, kind of impossible.
It is not completely impossible, but it's more difficult.
Yeah. Don't be biased, even
Right?
though you do have chips in here.
So, look, I'm not going to lie. I have not watched a game that Tom Brady has done yet. I just haven't. It hasn't worked out.
Yeah, it's just been meh.
Right?
It's like, he's not terrible. He's not great. It's
John
just
Arand from Puck Media came on last week, and he basically said he's been okay.
Yeah.
But he also has not seen a ton. But the general reviews from Brady have been,
Yeah, which
Okay.
is sad because Greg Olson killed it. He was great.
And he's still killing it. I've had the opportunity to catch Greg Olson's act twice, and Olson is, for my money, the best.
So good.
He's better than Romo.
Yep.
He's better than Collinsworth. He's better than Herb Street on Amazon Prime, who, by the way, I think Kirk Herbstreit actually does a very good job. To me, Al Michaels is way past his sell-by date. I don't blame. I mean, he's got to be close to 80, if not already 80. Al Michaels is one of the greatest play-by-play guys in the history of any sport.
I know.
Doesn't even matter, but at this point, he is simply taking a paycheck.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
But I do think football when I hear his voice.
Yeah, I mean, the longtime voice of the most high-profile game, whether it was Monday Night Football for a while, Sunday Night Football, but he burst on the scene in 1980 doing U.S. Olympic hockey. Like he really didn't have much experience doing hockey at all, and then the U.S. shocks everybody and wins the gold medal. But for me, Greg Olsen is the best in the business at analyst at that position, and I feel bad that Greg got bounced out of the top chair. It would have made more sense, but it would have upstaged Brady to leave Olsen there in a 3-man booth.
Yeah.
But this is, it's Tom Brady, so much like his job with the Raiders to be part owner, we don't really know. He's just really he's handsome.
Yeah.
He is really, really handsome.
He likes avocado ice cream.
And he doesn't eat strawberries. That was
too.
Maybe Olsen blew it by eating a strawberry in front of Fox executives.
How dare you?
I don't know. All right, when we come back, Brett Friedlander, Saturday Down South, ACC columnist. We will talk about week 8. It's week 8? It's week 8. It's week 8. I can't believe it. And a little hoops with Brett next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. For all the inside information on your team, join me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, for our podcast, Panthers Playbook, presented by Carolina Ford Dealers. In every episode, we'll keep you up to date on your Panthers, and we'll do it with access only we can provide. Locker room insight, exclusive interviews, and in-depth looks at every Panthers game. Follow and subscribe to Panthers Playbook wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
So tonight we have the Denver Broncos taking on the New Orleans Saints for Thursday night football game in New Orleans, and it'll be a battle of a rookie quarterback versus a vet at home. I'm Victoria Vodnecker here for BetMGM, and the Superdome can be a difficult place to play as an opponent, especially if you're a rookie. So maybe you feel like that'll impact the game, or maybe you think this game will be a high-scoring game, so you're confident about the over. These are all routes you could take to make this game a little spicier if you think it could use some pizzazz, which could all combine to make a same-game parlay. Because when you use the BetMGM app, you'll see choices like betting the money line, prop bets, live bets, those same-game parlays that I mentioned, and BetMGM also provides fun daily promotions for day of games. All brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Download the app today and please gamble responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, North Carolina only. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
With all these new winners at the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club, we need to decide who's in charge.
We need a top prize winner.
We need someone who's good with words, like us crossword winners.
If elected leader, I will extend the hours during which all winners can use the diamond-encrusted hot tub.
Nice.
New scratch-offs mean new winners. This month's tickets are packed with $370 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.04 to 4.31. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here from my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I live and work on both coasts, travel the country, and there's nothing better than Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and half-price appetizers Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6. Visit all 5 Triangle locations and ask for their great daily beer specials. And how about this special? Every Sunday, they have $6 Bloody Marys and $6.50 Jamesons. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to HIMSS.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. It's getting cold. Your heating bills are on the rise, and your house's old and damaged windows are letting all of that heat and your money go right out the window. Good thing there's Window Nation. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free. Plus, pay nothing for 24 months. You'll love your windows like Albert, who says great value, great product, and great customer service. Hurry, sale ends October 31st, so schedule a fast in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or at windownation.com.
This is Adam Gold.
Frankly, I'm not sure that there is a sport that we could theoretically even put in the Olympics that isn't. I said bowling. Yeah, maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Croquet? Lawn darts?
I'm waiting for cornhole.
Oh, there's somebody that thinks, yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Brett Friedlander, Saturday Down South, is going to join us in just a minute. ACC columnist. Yesterday, I did bring up, and I will bring it up with Brett, the, I think, unwarranted faux disrespect card with regards to ACC basketball. Since, and we can drag this into a far deeper conversation than I tried to with Chip Patterson, but sometimes Chip doesn't indulge me on those. It's like, why you get lost in the weeds, Gold? And he's probably right. Last year, I mean, the ACC did well in the NCAA tournament. Clemson, Duke, NC State all made they were, when we got to the Elite Eight, we had 3 ACC teams in it. 37.5% of the college basketball playing teams remaining at that level hailed from the ACC. We could have ended up with 2 teams in the Final Four. Clemson played Alabama tough, and NC State beat Duke. So State went to the Final Four. The year before, Miami went to the Final Four. I think the year before, is that when both Duke and Carolina went to the Final Four? Yeah, right? So 4 Final Four teams in the last 3 years, and we get to this year, and only 2 ACC teams in the ranking? How is that possible? Well, who would be the third team that had to be ranked was my question, and nobody has a real good answer for that. Anyway, I don't feel like there is disrespect yet. I think there will be disrespect if nothing changes, but because I think the ACC was disrespected the last year, maybe the last 2 years. I know Brett Friedlander feels that way, and I guess since I've already started that, let's start with the preseason AP poll. Duke 7, North Carolina 9. Nobody else in the top 25. I mean, there were some teams, just outside that got also receiving votes. I just don't think that's disrespect. I just don't know who demanded to be ranked other than the top 2.
Well, we can start with Clemson because other than P.J. Hall, they've got a lot back, and they replaced Joseph Girard with Jaden Zachary from Boston College. I think they deserved some recognition. I think Wake Forest with Hunter Salas back. I mean, tell me a team
and Efton
that's
Reed.
not.
That's the team I think is the third best in the league.
Yeah, tell me a team in the country that returns 3 better, more consequential players than Hunter Salas, Efton Reed, and Cam Hildreth.
Cam Hildreth. Well, let me ask. I'll just ask. I'll answer your question this way. Where did Wake end last season?
I believe in the NIT,
right?
Losing in the second round.
So, doesn't that say something?
Well, the thing about it is you could make a case that they should have been in the NCAA tournament, considering what the 10th place team got to the Final Four, and they finished, 5th, I believe it was?
Right. You're putting me in this position. I don't want to be in this position. The 10th place team, which was NC State, right, finished 9-11?
Mm-hmm.
Does NC State make the NCAA tournament if Michael O'Connell doesn't heave one in from half court to force overtime against Virginia?
No, but maybe Pittsburgh does. Maybe Wake Forest does, because those two teams had resumes that are as good as some that got in at the end.
Right. So, but
especially for the Mountain West Conference, which is grossly overrated.
We there are a lot of things that I spent 2 months of the season complaining that we are propping up the Big 12 based on erroneous power rankings, and using that to say, well, look at all the quad one wins that they've got. Well, yeah, because their normal win is a quad. Wait, we don't have to get into the math. It was a self-fulfilling. It was a cycle, right?
But here's the thing, Adam. I think that's not going to be a problem in the ACC this year, because you're not going to have Louisville dragging everybody down, because that's going to be an actual team this year.
Yeah.
Now that they've got a coach who can coach and some players. I think that Notre Dame and Georgia Tech are also going to be significantly better. And so with the bottom of the league being better, the top of the league is going to benefit.
I certainly hope so, because I do think that the basketball is more apt to stare at a spreadsheet and look at Ken Palm and Bart Torvik numbers and net ratings and quad 1 and quad 2, whereas football uses the eye test to its detriment, I believe, but they use the eye test.
Especially when it concerns Alabama.
You and I, again, we are aligned here. My whole point is that I just don't think that – I think it's not really – to me, it doesn't make sense to play the disrespect card before anything happens, because I don't think the preseason poll matters a lick.
Well, go back to the football poll and look at where Florida State was. So, that's your point.
But I think there is an argument to be made that the football poll does matter because it gives you a starting point with not as many data points. Basketball, we play 35. Even the decent teams are going to play 35 games. So we have a whole bunch of data points. All right, let's get first of all, who did you vote number one, if you're allowed to tell me without killing me?
In basketball?
Yeah, basketball.
Duke. I mean, they've got the number one overall pick, right? And Cooper Flag. They've got a guy who is 7'2" and is the shot blocker, the rim protector they lacked last year.
Yeah.
They've got a veteran backcourt, and maybe the best ACC transfer coming in. I mean, he was the defensive player of the year, or on the all defensive team from Syracuse, Malik Brown. Yeah. And I just like the makeup of that team. Yeah,
I like a lot. Like the kid they got from Purdue. I like the kid they got from Tulane. There's a lot to like about Duke. It's just so many freshmen are going to play huge roles, and the player of the year in the league might end up being R.J. Davis. And I think North Carolina is pretty good. I think ultimately when I looked at it, I thought Duke at 7, Carolina at 9. I think you can make an argument that Duke is slightly underrated, and you can make an argument that North Carolina might be slightly overrated. But I also haven't gone through the process of comparing schedules, who plays this team twice, who plays home here, away there, because those types of things, when you have a league that has 37 teams in it, it's difficult to find the balance of the schedule in that regard. Let me get to football.
But you know what, though? It doesn't really matter, because unlike football, they're going to decide it all on the court.
as opposed to a conference room in where are they in Texas? Are they in
Dallas?
Somewhere
I think,
in
Fort
Dallas,
Worth, or wherever the airport's located.
All right, to football at the very top. I've been asking people this question. With regards to Clemson, are you buying? Because they haven't beaten anybody really good since they lost to Georgia, but they have been super impressive in laying waste to just about everybody. I thought they did the least they possibly could at Florida State in the win, even though that was a comfortable win. It could have been a lot worse had they played a little bit better. But are you buying the Clemson Tigers?
Well, they kicked 7 field goals, right? They made 5 of them in that game. If they'd have scored 5 touchdowns, it would have been a total effort.
Right.
But yes, I'm buying them, and I'm buying them for one reason and one reason only. Yes, they haven't played anybody of consequence, but look at the rest of their schedule. They don't play anybody of consequence. And so, they are the class of the ACC right now, especially the way that they're starting to play offensively, and it's not even the execution. It's not it's the aggressiveness with which they're attacking offensively now. Georgia, I thought they played that game not to lose. And after that, I thought Garrett Riley and Dabo got together and said, we can't do this anymore. And they started throwing the ball downfield. They got a little bit more, aggressive with when they had teams down to just put the foot on their throat and go for it. And you see with the results. So I think that they're the team most likely to run the table. I think Miami is more talented, but they've got the Mario factor. And they also have a factor in which, Cam Ward he's one of the top 2 or 3 Heisman Trophy candidates.
Yeah.
Is going to be in New York, may win the thing. But the problem is he is so confident that sometimes he does things that he doesn't need to do, and as a result, you get down by 25 points. Now, he has the ability to bring them back, but how often can you do that? So
apparently he's done it twice.
He has, but look, in 2017, if you go back, Miami was I believe 10-0, and had gotten away with a couple of close calls against Georgia Tech and Florida State, and it finally came back to bite them. So
where did they lose? Do you remember where they lost?
Yeah, they lost at Pittsburgh, I believe.
Yes. So let me get to that real quick. Pittsburgh.
And then they got beat. They got blown out by Clemson in the ACC championship game, and then lost to Wisconsin. So they went 10-0 and then lost the next 3.
So let me just bring Pitt into the chat, who is undefeated, even though they won their 2 high-profile out-of-conference games, sort of in strange comeback fashion over Cincinnati and West Virginia in the backyard brawl, which came back. You say that Clemson has a soft rest of the schedule. Clemson has to play at Pitt. They also have to play at Virginia Tech, which the Virginia Tech that played at Miami, maybe that was more Miami than it was Virginia Tech. But I think there was a reason we all thought Virginia Tech would be good. I think that Clemson's remaining schedule is more challenging than just a smooth path to 8-0 in the league, and they have 4 more league games left because their last 2 games are non-conference games, Citadel and South Carolina. But the Louisville game I'm not that concerned with, even though Louisville is good. I think Louisville might be the best team left on their schedule, to be honest. But at Virginia Tech and at Pitt in back-to-back games, I think could pose a problem for an offense that sometimes has shown the ability to not score touchdowns.
We are going to find out a lot more about Pitt the week before they play Clemson, because they play SMU, which is also a legit contender because they don't play either Clemson or Miami the rest of the way.
They have and they play Pitt at home.
Yep.
So how you may know this because I don't know the exact answer other than head-to-head competition. How does the ACC tiebreaker work? Because it is theoretically feasible that Clemson, Miami, and SMU all end up unbeaten in league play.
So what you do is you take the combined winning percentage of their common opponents.
Oh, okay.
And whoever has the best winning percentage against common opponents, the 2 best will go to the championship game.
If they're all
all tied,
if they're all 8-0, the common opponent record will be something.
Okay.
0.
Then you go to league record. There's about 4 different levels, and the last one is rock paper scissors. and here's the thing: if it comes down to the ACC making a decision in a conference room, sorry, SMU, welcome to the ACC. You ain't playing.
Right, and it'll be the same people who thought that Jim Phillips was on the bat phone telling the officials, I don't care how you do it, that was not a touchdown on that play against Virginia Tech.
There's about 5 different levels to it, and basically it comes down to a coin flip.
All right, can you see a scenario where we've got 3 teams in the playoff?
No.
No.
2 tops.
So 11-1 SMU doesn't get in the playoff. That'll be interesting.
Well, here's the thing: if SMU is 11-1
and BYU wins the Big 12,
they will win the conference championship because they've already got a loss. So I don't think a 2-loss SMU gets in. If SMU gets in, and Miami,
SMU can go 11-1 and not even play in the ACC championship game.
Well, that's true. Well, then I don't know, Adam. I don't know. That's the answer. And the other thing too is it's the same. Listen,
we don't bring Brett Friedlander on this show to say I don't know.
It's the same committee that made the decision to keep undefeated Florida State out last year. So
yeah, no.
I would say that if it comes down to a third ACC team and another SEC team, there's no.
It's a very good.
There's no I don't know about it.
It's a very good point. Brett Friedlander, Saturday Down South, ACC columnist. Hopefully next time we talk, we'll talk about resurgent NC State and North Carolina. By the way, as I let you go, there's a lot of pressure on Duke to beat Florida State for the first time, isn't there?
Absolutely, because if they're ever going to have a chance, this is it. Florida State's coming off a bye week, and from everything I've heard, Mike Norvell has kind of gone with a youth movement, that he's kind of incorporating young guys. But if you can't beat a team that's being quarterbacked by Brock Glenn, you're never going to beat them. Yes, this is a huge win because if Duke wins, bowl eligible, they're still, theoretically in the ACC hunt, and
Sure.
And Manny Diaz can claim victory no matter what happens the rest of the way.
Yeah, Brock Glenn, though, sounds like a good quarterback. I don't know. I mean, it's not Spencer Rattler good, but Brock Glenn just sounds like the name of a good quarterback, even if he isn't. Brett Friedlander sounds like the name of a dynamite ACC writer. At BFriedACC on Twitter, Saturday Down South. Thanks, man. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, AG.
You got it. Brett Friedlander here in the A. Can't say I don't know. I don't think you're allowed. You can't reach that status, Brett Friedlander status, and say I don't know.
Right? I just don't know.
I'm not sure. Look, I think Brett's right though that SMU could go 11-1 and not be in the playoff. The more you look at it, I said this to Chip Patterson yesterday. I think there are 22, 23 teams that, based on record, can still make a case right now to be playoff teams. And I eliminated teams that had 2 losses. So Ole Miss wasn't on my list. They were just not on my list because they had 2 losses. There's a lot of, and now as we get to the back half of the schedule, we're going to see a lot of, intersection of these teams. Alabama and Tennessee play this week. So if we're eliminating 2 lost teams, at least at this point, from our playoff projections, either Alabama or Tennessee is going to the curb after this. My sense is that Alabama can survive a loss to Tennessee. Tennessee probably can't survive a loss to Alabama. But I don't know. It's as much as I am against an expanded playoff for a lot of other reasons that have nothing to do with football, the excitement that we're going to have trying to figure out who belongs, who has deserved their spot, that's going to be paramount between now and the first weekend in December. We'll talk about it several times a week between now and then. When we come back, we will stretch, we will place bets. All of that is next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. It's Thursday night. That's Fun Day night. Why is it Fun Day night? Because Thursday night football means FanDuel squares. You've played it during the Super Bowl. You lose because you keep getting 5s and 9s. But with FanDuel squares, you pick your own numbers. You can pick as many as you like. You get to see the odds beforehand, and you can bet them live during the game. So what are you waiting for? Plus, if you are new to FanDuel, bet $5, win that bet, and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel.com/AGS bet on squares. FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Kamala Harris gets that everyday costs are too high. She has real plans to tackle price gouging, cut taxes for middle-class families, and make life more affordable. Her opponent's plan?
Donald Trump plans to impose what is, in effect, a national sales tax. On everyday products, it will mean higher prices on just about every one of your daily needs. A Trump tax on gas, a Trump tax on food, a Trump tax on clothing, a Trump tax on over-the-counter medication. Donald Trump's plan would cost a typical family $3,900 a year. When everyday prices are too high, he will make them even higher.
Kamala Harris, a better plan for lowering costs for a future we can afford. Paid for by FFPAC, ffpac.org, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. FFPAC's responsible for the content of this advertising.
When severe weather happens in the fall, it can cause power outages. Alternative Power, your North Carolina Generac service provider, reminds you to be ready. Trim branches from trees near your home. Secure loose outdoor items. Be prepared with food, water, flashlights, batteries, medications on hand, and a plan for your pets. Alternative Power guards homes against extended power outages with the Generac Home Standby Generator. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts. See more at alternativepower.com.
The 2024 elections are just around the corner, and older voters are the nation's most active. The AARP North Carolina Voters Guide has information about upcoming election dates, registration deadlines, and voting options in North Carolina, such as voting by mail, early voting, or voting with a disability. Find the guide in the voters section at aarp.org/NC and listen each week to AARP Without Limits for important election news and much more. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Hello there, it's me, your internal clock. Yes, the one you sleep through on weekends. You've probably heard my TikToks, but I'm straight up sounding the bell now. It's almost time to start applying for college. That means you got transcripts to gather, letters of rec to request, and campus tours to schedule. But hey, we've got time, and we've got CFNC. CFNC.org can help us plan, apply, and pay for college. We got this, trust me. Just visit CFNC.org to help us stay on time.
Visiting the North Carolina Zoo in Asheboro is a family tradition, perfect for fun outdoor adventure. Founded in 1974, this year marks North Carolina Zoo's 50th anniversary, and the zoo is celebrating all year long. Enjoy the antics of the baboon babies, take a ride on the endangered species carousel, and wonder at the massive elephants of the Watani grasslands. Make cherished family memories today. Plan your trip at nczoo.org. Open 7 days a week in Asheboro.
This is Adam Gold.
And I did have to use two screens at one point, or a couple of points, and I don't like it. I can't watch two games at the same time.
There's a lot going on.
I'm sorry. I'm incapable of doing that. Because there were times where, I forgot this other game was on in front of me.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Van Morrison's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
We had our Rock and Roll Hall of Fame conversation yesterday. It was just one of my favorite things that we do every year. It's so much fun. I decided that I was not going to leave Rick French alone until we got Frank Sinatra in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We had that we had a good time yesterday. We missed you.
Oh, well,
you were
I
not
missed
here,
you guys.
but you knew that, and I knew that. Some people might not have known that. All right, we have tons of stuff to do. We're going to stretch. Then we are going to place bets, and I'm glad I actually didn't put real units on the Dodgers game because I thought it would go under 7.5, and they scored a tack-on run late, I think in the top of the ninth, to make it 8-0.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would have lost that, not to mention the Mets loss. It would have added insult to injury.
Yeah.
But I'm dealing fine. I am actually in good spirits, even though the Mets trail 2-1 in the best-of-7 series.
Yes.
Game 4 tonight. I might not be too good after this one. Let's stretch.
Okay, so since we had our Fireman Ed clip earlier, I saw this story, and I don't know, I just felt it was appropriate because one of the safest places you would think would be from having a fire, if you had to guess, a safe space, you would say it's a fire station, wouldn't you?
Well, theoretically, yes, they should be equipped to handle that.
You would think. But in Germany, not so much.
Oh, no, what
because
happened? That's bad.
In Germany, there was a 10-month-old state-of-the-art fire station that burned down to the ground yesterday.
Really?
Yes.
It seems
And you would think,
hard
why?
to do.
What?
Yeah.
They had no detectors in there. They had no smoke detectors.
Are you serious?
None.
Of all of them, that's wild.
They had no smoke detectors in there. The city decided not to install fire alarms in the station.
Sure.
And there's no
Theoretically,
code.
they shouldn't need them, right?
Yeah, you would think, 24/7 firefighters
Yeah.
in there. This is what they do. They're used to it. They'd be on it. No, they were not. There also is no code for them to require smoke detectors for some reason.
Makes sense.
I don't know why you wouldn't at least have a backup.
That is tremendous.
But they did not. So they say that it's unclear exactly how it started, but they're kind of assuming that maybe a battery charger had overheated. Who knows? Luckily, no one was injured, but it did take about 170 firefighters to fight the blaze. And
Well,
it's
at least they
near
tried.
a total loss. It will cost them, the damages exceeded $22 million.
Oh my gosh, they must have lost a couple of trucks.
Yes.
What else could have been super expensive in a...
All of their photography equipment for the calendars they make, probably the ping pong tables. I don't know.
You went fireman calendar there, didn't you?
I totally
I'm sorry,
did.
I'm blushing for that.
So, yeah, the fire inspector said he's, quote, extremely upset about this and
Sure
told the
is.
media that this is every firefighter's nightmare. No one ever wants to have to put out their own fire station. No, that's not good. So yeah, poor guys in Germany. Maybe you should put some smoke detectors in there. Just a thought, but who knows? Or maybe a new profession. No one was there. No one, I don't know. Who knows the details? But one thing that is maybe a positive for some is there's going to be more chips now in your Frito-Lay bag because shrinkflation.
Not as a result of the fire station
No,
burning
thankfully
down.
not for
Okay.
the fire station. It is because Frito-Lay has been getting a lot of feedback from people complaining, which I understand because you buy a bag of chips now and it's about 50% air. So
Yeah.
they've been getting a lot of complaints
It's not
from
just
people.
them, it's all of those chips.
All of them.
Those chips are, come on.
All of them. So they are trying to fight shrinkflation because people have been complaining. And there was an actual study back in 2021 that found that there actually was a significant decrease in it. A 13-ounce bag turned into an 11-ounce bag. So they're just gonna go ahead, chalk it up, and do the right thing. Put more chips in the bags. But they do say they're only doing this with the jumbo-sized ones, so you'll have to go big with
Party
this.
size, not jumbo. Party size.
The party size, the family sized. And they're doing this with Tostitos, Ruffles, and Doritos. That was a few that they named. Not all of their products will be unshrinkflationed, but
Right.
yeah, those will, because I guess most of the Mad fans are upset about that brand. So they're also going to add more bags in their little variety pack. So instead of 16, you'll get 18 now. There we are. That's America.
Crisis averted.
I know. Don't try to phase out Frito, okay? They're on it.
Very simple question. You can answer this.
Mm-hmm.
Much like on the like if you get a pint of ice cream,
yes,
whether it's Haagen-Dazs or Ben & Jerry's, the joke is 4 servings, get out of here.
Yeah.
Right? So, do you really think there are 7 servings of chips in a normal-sized bag of chips?
No, never.
Anybody who has like a teenager knows.
Yes.
There's 1 serving in the bag of chips.
I was going to say, is there
Just
dip
1.
involved with this jumbo size?
You don't even
because
need dip.
then there's 2 servings.
Right. 1 serving in the bag of whatever the Cape Cod potato chip.
A French onion dip with
oh my
God.
God.
Oh man, can't even. But yeah, now you'll have like 3 more chips in your bag, apparently. But maybe you can make some money from our bets.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can own me. I owe you one.
All right, let's see. Did I win anything yesterday? I don't think I did. I think I had the Bruins, but I don't remember what the final score. I know they beat the Avalanche, but I don't know what happened, so who cares?
Yeah.
Let's just move on. Do we have fights this week?
We do have some this weekend.
Okay, good.
So I will prepare those for tomorrow. But today it's football and baseball because we've got the Broncos taking on our NFC South opponents, the Saints. So give me the Broncos and Bo Nix to win this one, please and thank you, with the injured Saints. And I'm going to take the over because it's at 37.5. So
it is.
Defenses kind of stink with both of them. So take the over. That's plus 215.
All right, I will get to that game in a little bit. Guess what happened yesterday 2 days ago in the Yankees win over Cleveland? Aaron Judge hit a home run.
Ooh.
Has All Rise finally clicked in the postseason? I say yes. Aaron Judge, 2 or more home runs.
Whoa.
Plus 2,800.
Oh, wow. That's a good odd.
Aaron Judge, 2 home runs or more.
Yeah.
Plus 2,800.
It's not crazy. You never know. Well, that game in particular, I'm thinking these Guardians, this is just, if nothing else, the momentum, it's a do or die game, and I think that they need to win this or else they're going to get completely swept.
Yeah.
So give me the Guardians to win because they got to leave it out there, and I'm going to take the over because your Aaron Judge is going to get 2 home runs tonight, so that's plus 225.
All right. We are not succumbing to the Dodgers yet. I say we, the Mets. Outright winner. They're plus money at home.
They are.
Over 7 runs, plus 252.
Oh, okay. See, and I'm going to take the opposite. You could say I'm buying your Mets a win
there you
because Yamamoto's pitching, and so I just feel like it might not be a high-scoring game. But I'll take the Dodgers to try to, reverse good juju for you. Okay. So Dodgers and the under 7 is plus 210.
All right. Now, I will get to the football game, and, man, do I want the Denver Broncos to lose. Yeah. I want Sean Payton to feel pain in his return to New Orleans.
Same.
I do. I want him to look like he has eaten a bad oyster.
Which is all the time.
Right?
He really has that face.
That is true. Give me the Saints. They're plus 2.5 points at home.
Yeah.
But just give me the Saints outright winners under 37.5. I think the only way they can do this is to keep this game ugly and low scoring. I think they will try. Plus 276. That's my final offer. We'll find out later on if our friend Lee Sterling has anything on this game. We haven't really talked Panthers yet. We are going to do that when we come back. Because guess who got back to practice? Or not back to practice, who practiced.
Who appeared finally.
Jonathan Brooks is ready to go. Does that mean anything for Chuba Hubbard? Does it mean anything for Miles Sanders? Talk about that. Plus, could Major League Baseball be coming to the Triangle earlier than expansion? Next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here from my man, Coach Pete DeRuta, Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. He is a retirement planning specialist. He can get you from point A, which is where you are now, to point B, financial freedom in retirement, better than anybody on this planet. And here's why. This is what he does. He's been doing it for over 30 years. National best-selling author on the subject of retirement planning. So if you think, can I do this? Let's find out. Let's get you to Coach Pete DeRuta right now. 888-843-0013. 888-843-0013 or text Adam to 600-700. We're going to get you a total customized retirement plan, a $1,000 value, yours free today. But you have to call 888-843-0013. And then you can figure out whether or not you can retire on your terms. It is about what you want to do. Coach Pete DeRuta, Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. Call today.
Football is on the menu tonight.
Showtime, prime time.
And we're dishing up a clash of conferences.
Here we go. Woo!
It's Denver and New Orleans. Pre-game starts at 7:30. Kickoff at 8:15.
Y'all know what time it is, eh?
The NFL on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Med.
Hey, together, baby. We just do this one play at a time.
99.9 The Fan, the Triangle sports leader.
We came in for one thing, to win.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. And there's no time like now to help Western North Carolina recover from Hurricane Helene. Through October 19th, participating Bojangles are donating all proceeds from Bowberry biscuit sales to hurricane relief efforts in Western North Carolina. So when you buy a Bowberry biscuit from Bojangles, you'll be doing something good and getting something good. What are you waiting for? It's Help Western North Carolina time.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Hi, it's Jonathan Cotton, and people often ask me, what is the Good Feet store? A shoe store? I respond, we are an art support store. Haven't you spent enough time trying different shoes and all the disposable products that are supposed to make your feet feel better? Go to goodfeet.com to make your appointment today.
Adam Gold here from my friend Dr. Lori Travers at Travers LASIK, and twice in the last week, people have asked me about my experience at Travers LASIK, and I have said, well, if you want 20/20 vision and you want to get rid of glasses and contacts, I think it's a great idea. 919-510-6830, TraversLASIK.com. 2-year, 0-interest financing is available. About 5 minutes per eye, totally painless. 919-510-6830, Travers LASIK, see what you've been missing.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Raleigh's injury lawyers.
Visit GotBrian.com.
That's GotBrian.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
The selection committee's biggest question today, as we sit here at the midpoint of the season, is who's number one. Because with that win, Oregon certainly made a case for it. Now, I would have Texas there for a couple of reasons, but when you look at what Oregon has on its playoff resume, a win at rival Oregon State, again, that win against Boise State that I mentioned, now they've got the best win in the country. This trumps Alabama's win over Georgia based on the way Alabama and Georgia have played in recent weeks.
Who could follow that? Based on this, based on that, based on this. I think there's, like if you play 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, I believe you can get to Duke being the best team in the country.
Right.
I think. I don't know.
Sounds right.
Doesn't really matter. But we are, the last 6 weeks, and this is routine in college football, we do get to start seeing the fabric of the sport touch. So we've already had some of these matchups, like we've already seen Alabama and Georgia. Today they're both playoff teams, but talk to me in a few weeks. They're on the road at Texas. What if Georgia takes on a second loss, right? If Georgia takes on a second loss, where does that put the Bulldogs? I mean, aren't they still one of the top 12 teams? Probably now, but they still have to play Tennessee. I think they still have to play Texas A&M. I mean, they might not play A&M. I know they play Tennessee. So, not to mention they have to play Georgia Tech. Whatever. So, all of these teams are going to start playing each other now, starting now. And there'll be a lot of separation. I think we've got 22, maybe 23 viable playoff teams. Doesn't mean that there are 23 teams who can win it. We're not talking about that. We're talking about 23 teams who can make it in, which is a lot different than winning it. You know, when we talk in terms of basketball, we aren't really, even though we have seen teams go from the first 4 to the final 4, NC State, in terms of being an at-large team, wasn't even really in that pool. They ended up in the Final Four. Stuff happens. But we don't look, when we're looking at the bottom of the at-large pool, we're not looking at teams that can win the tournament. We're looking at teams that deserve to get in. You know, that's really what they're doing. Can they win a couple of games? Yeah, anybody can win a couple of games. We've seen 15 seeds win a couple of games. Heck, St. Peter's got to the Elite Eight as a 15 seed. So, yeah, anybody that can win a couple of games. We're really looking who deserves to get in. That's what we're doing. And now that we have a 12-team field, that's what we're looking at, who deserves to get in. Right now, you deserve a wall of sound.
The wall of sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right, guess who's finally practicing? Last year, or this past draft, actually, I should say, the Carolina Panthers, remember they traded up into the first round? They had the first pick in the second round, traded up into the first round to get Xavier Liggett. Then in the second round, they traded back, right? They had all sorts of maneuvering. Then they traded up again to get Jonathan Brooks. After trading back, they traded up. Jonathan Brooks had an ACL tear last November. And he is a great running back from the University of Texas. A lot of people think he was the best running back in this draft. I don't know. I don't really remember him at Texas. I didn't watch a lot of Texas football last year. Anyway, ACL injury in November, last November. Understandable. Wasn't ready for training camp. Certainly wasn't ready to start the season. But he practiced yesterday for the first time. Jonathan, how did it feel?
It felt good. You know, just being out the time that I was out, it was truly a blessing from God just to be able to heal, go out there and have my first day of practice in almost a year.
Almost a year, first day of practice. Andy Dalton, starting quarterback. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I was happy to see him. You know, the tempo of practice wasn't we did some walkthrough and different things, but for him just being in the huddle, him getting comfortable hearing the play, doing the right thing, I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to do.
All right, head coach Dave Canales, when might we see him in a game?
It's certainly going to be week to week, you know, and we have to be able to see him play comfortably at full speed. So that's goal number one. And really, he checked all the boxes. We felt confident about getting him out there. So now it's like getting him a few runs full speed. Tomorrow will be padded up, you know, see what he looks like in that mode. You know, Friday coming back with another good tempo practice. So, again, we just got to take it week to week and make sure that he's playing confidently is the goal.
So it creates a pretty cool scenario for the Panthers. Miles Sanders has not worked out for Carolina. I thought a couple of games ago there were some good moments for him. Certainly the Bryce Young rollout, forced out of the pocket. I'll use air quotes with forced out of the pocket because he really wasn't forced out. He willingly rolled out when he felt pressure that wasn't there. But he made a great throw to Miles Sanders down the right, kind of on the right sideline. So, but Sanders has not had the Panthers tenure that anybody wanted. There's a reason they paid him like a bunch of that money. Well, all that money in free agency was to come here and be, an impact player, and he really hasn't been. But Chuba Hubbard has, and if Jonathan Brooks and Chuba Hubbard can form a reputable running back tandem, would have Darren Gant compared it potentially to D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart.
Which was a great duo. Oh, I loved it.
I mean, it took Carolina to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you would love for that to be the case.
Yeah.
I would be in favor of trading Chuba Hubbard if Jonathan Brooks were healthy and playing, and I could still be persuaded if somebody was asking me, what would you do? If David Tepper picked up the phone and called me, Adam, what would you do? I would say, sir, you should make a list of your assets on the football team. I'm not talking about your assets. You should make a list of your assets, and I would sell as many of them as you could to stockpile as much draft capital as you could. Because to me, that is where the Panthers have to be good in terms of rebuilding this roster. We talked about it before the year. They have so many holes on on both sides of the ball. And this is why it was so strange that they went all in before the roster was even worth anything. Let's just say 2 years from now, Andy Dalton's probably not the quarterback of the future. He's quarterback of the present and maybe even next year. But the quarterback of the future is not on the roster because I think they've decided they're moving on from Bryce Young. So you're going to have to get that quarterback somewhere. That doesn't have to be in the draft next year. You can roll with Dalton. And you might have to roll with Dalton and Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Right? So you can just run this back. But by the time they're good, you're going to need a right tackle. Chances are you might need another or both guards again. I mean, Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt, they're not rookies. There's a reason they were available in free agency. So you're probably going to need multiple defensive linemen, linebackers, defensive backs. There's a lot of holes on this team. You're going to need extra draft capital, which is why if David Tepper called me, which he won't, that's what I would suggest.
And then you should tell him to talk to me. That would be fun.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have a blast.
Exactly.
I'm sure he would. So I would be in favor of that. I would be in favor of trading J.C. Horn. I would be in favor of trading almost anybody that you would deem an asset. Because I do think that the timing has not been right for anything that they have done. Anyway, one more thing before we hit a break and we talk about the potential of baseball coming to the Triangle sooner rather than later. Dave Canales, head coach of the Panthers, you have an assignment this week. Your team has to be ready for Washington quarterback Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, the guy's been playing great football. Jayden's been, making plays, extending, throwing balls on all the different levels, so his game continues to grow. So for us, it's just about, really it starts off with the basics of the communication. We got to make sure our attention is just refining the details in the run game. And then in the pass game, just tight coverage, making it hard, making him have to be accurate, and making sure that we have that pocket awareness and integrity, because we know that he can extend plays and make plays that way.
He is an incredible player. Troy, I watched a little bit of Troy Aikman on with, I guess it was the Barstool guys. And he says he has been more impressed with Jayden Daniels than he has been with any young quarterback in a long time.
That's saying a lot. He's been impressive.
C.J. Stroud was pretty good last year.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Williams, after the couple of tough weeks, certainly looks like a much better quarterback. Jaden Daniels has been amazing.
Phenomenal, yeah.
Panthers, Washington on Sunday.
Yikes.
In D.C. Well, Landover, Maryland. All right, when we come back, could the Triangle get Major League Baseball next year? We'll talk about it next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Pack Therapy is in session thanks to First Horizon Bank. It's Tim Donnelly from 99.9 The Fan alongside legendary Wolfpack play caller Mike Lennon.
Every episode of Pack Therapy is your chance to get dialed in with inside information on your team.
We'll set you up for every Wolfpack game all season long.
And we'll break down every contest, what went right and what could have worked better.
Plus, special guests to keep Wolfpack hope alive.
Follow and subscribe to Pack Therapy wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Remember the old song, It's Hip to Be Square? Well, it's hip to play squares. That's right, FanDuel Squares, Thursday night football, same game you play at the Super Bowl every year but never win because you draw randomly bad numbers. This way, you get to choose the numbers yourself. You can play as many numbers as you like. You can bet them live during the game, and you know the odds beforehand. So, what are you waiting for? FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. Bet on squares. Let's do it, people. FanDuel.
21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
With all these new winners at the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club, we need to decide who's in charge.
We need a top prize winner.
We need someone who's good with words, like us crossword winners.
If elected leader, I will extend the hours during which all winners can use the diamond-encrusted hot tub.
Yes! New scratch-offs mean new winners. This month's tickets are packed with $370 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.04 to 4.31. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Who's ready for some football? Celebrate the season with award-winning wings and ice-cold pints at Carolina Ale House. With wall-to-wall TVs, Carolina Ale House is the go-to spot for every game. From Honey Buffalo to 5 Alarm to Carolina Barbecue, we've got wing sauces for all flavors. If you're feeling hungry, don't forget about our brisket French dip or Philly cheesesteak. Grab a front row seat, sip on your favorite beer, and watch your squad with us. Carolina Ale House. Ale yeah.
What if you could be debt-free by this January? Get rid of all that high-interest debt, pay off all your credit cards, consolidate everything into one lower payment? Hey, it's Dennis Cox. If you're ready to stop stressing over bills, you need to call Loan Pronto right now. With rates at their lowest in 2 years, this is the perfect chance to use your home's equity and save big going into the new year. Loan Pronto's got rates with APRs in the low fives, and they're getting homeowners hundreds of thousands out of their home's equity. Homeowners who do this save on average $850 a month. Loan Pronto offers a ton of options, including total refis or their Express Equity line of credit. So call now. Get a rate quote in just minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call today and you won't make a house payment till 2025. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com, free rate quote now, 919-381-1760. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
This is Adam Gold.
Maybe at some point after repeated losing, David Tepper will get out of the way.
Yeah, it's going to be on my Christmas list every year until it happens. So, there.
I wish I could give you that.
I wish
I could put a bow around that for you, Victoria.
Me too.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. I see what you did there. It's very good. So Hurricane Milton has done a lot of damage, just like Helene has done a lot of damage to the western part of North Carolina, and it's going to take quite some time for areas of our state to be made whole again. I mentioned this because I saw the news report that there's a chunk of I-40, I think pretty close to where 40 and 26 intersect, that won't be rebuilt until next October. So we're talking about a year without part of the interstate. And Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, which is where the Tampa Bay Rays call home, the roof, the fabric roof, was ripped off by Hurricane Milton. And they are talking about minimum mid-season, but maybe as long as 2 or 3 years before that stadium is ready to host Major League Baseball or anything else that they put in there. So it has created a scramble situation potentially for MLB. The Rays are going to move into a new ballpark in 2028. I think that much is already settled, but where could they go? Could they come here? To talk about that, maybe answer some silly questions that he doesn't want to answer. Jimmy Goodman is the president and COO of Capital Broadcasting. So this is a risky move on my part, me asking the boss questions. They are the parent company of what I do for a living here. I appreciate you lowering your standards and talking to me on the radio, sir. How are you?
Hey, Adam. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well.
Happy to be here, man. Happy to be here.
All right, let's get to, we all know what's going on down in the west coast of Florida, central part of western Florida. They won't be in that building for a while. Is Durham Bulls Athletic Park a realistic possibility for the Rays and Major League Baseball?
Well, I think that's it's an interesting question, and, it's something that the reality is the answer is, I'm sure, I guess if you realistic, yes, then you got to think about, realistically, of course, anything's possible, right? Sure. But from a feasibility perspective, there's a lot of work for both partners, for our partner, the Rays, and us to sort of like work through what all would be going on. And, just to kind of give you an update on that, Adam, as it relates to this entire subject is, they haven't even been able to get up onto the roof at Tropicana to assess the damage. Okay. And so here we are talking about the possibility of them coming to Durham, and they haven't even gotten on the top. They haven't even been able to figure out and assess their damage and figure out, what it is that they're looking at. So I think it's what I would call way too early to speculate, is where I am sort of sitting.
Right. I totally understand that. Now, have the Rays reached out? And by the way, I didn't mention this, but Capital Broadcasting is the owner. They own the Durham Bulls. So
that's right.
So
that's right.
People need to know that. And have the Rays in any way, shape, or form reached out to you about this, or are they still dealing with their own stuff and these are just media, hey, this could happen? Have the Rays done anything about this?
This is 100% media or, just making stuff up. No, of course, we have called them.
Okay.
And we have contacted them to let them know what can we do to help you. right?
Right.
Because they're in a situation where they are, all hands on deck trying to figure out, okay, how do we get in here? How do we assess our situation, whether we can play or not? And then, okay, what are the locations that, we could possibly move to? And then, that I don't know exactly where they are, but our communication with them has been us calling them saying, what can we do to help you?
Right.
And them saying, hang tight, we're working on trying to figure out what we got here. We have looked at some of this from a feasibility perspective. Just like a quick glance would tell you that next year we'd have about 36% of the home games at the Bulls would overlap with a Rays home game.
Right.
So, that's just us kind of like taking a quick peek.
Right.
But, no matter what, now let me also deliver this type of message is if they need a place to play next year.
Yeah.
And we are, Durham ends up being the place that they want to do that, then we're their partner and we'll make it happen. That's how we do it. That's how we think about things. So, but, right now this is a pie in the sky
right.
Kind of concept. And, if I can't really speculate, but I think that the distance away from Tropicana is a problem.
Yep.
Right. So, and they have their spring training facilities. They got a lot of stuff that they got to work through and think about. But, again, I think we're pretty early on speculating on having an MLB franchise here in Durham next year.
All right, Jimmy Goodman is the president and CEO of Capital Broadcasting, and they are the owner of the Durham Bulls as well as this radio station. So I am risking everything talking to the boss. Again, because
I think I'm risking everything talking to you, Adam.
Well,
That's how I feel about it.
It could, but you know what? You might be right. I don't know. So I'm just curious about, because we are still way early. When you guys reach out to the Bulls, are you also kind of going through other things? You said you paired up schedules. Clearly, what would be best for the playing surface at DBAP is that you guys didn't play 115 games on that over at Durham Bulls Athletic Park, even though the field is amazing. And
right.
I know you do hold Duke plays there sometime. I don't know if Duke plays as many games there anymore. ACC tournament.
Right.
So there are a lot of things going on there. How much of the Bulls would they have to relocate all season, or could you still have the Bulls play there some?
I don't know. We have talked. Again, it's just more like lunch conversations about, hey, what would we do? And we are a little bit worried about the turf wear. Remember, we did a new field last year, new outfield. Really excited about that. It's beautiful. And the turf wear would hurt at that sort of volume. But there is new grass tech in place, and it is supposed to take more wear. So, we would be worried about it, but I don't think that would be the determining factor, and we try to figure out our way around that.
Yeah, it might be the best best baseball playing surface I have ever been on. How much? And again, these are all speculative things. Would you have to increase seating capacity at the stadium in order to satisfy the Rays, MLB? Yeah, no.
Well, I don't. So if you look at the A's, I think, and what
we'd rather not.
Kind of done. They've had, I think they had to build a clubhouse. They had to do a couple of things in order to facilitate. Right. So, in terms of seating, man, it's, sure, I guess we could conceptually figure out how to do that with a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right. But, again, we just haven't talked to them. They are trying to recover and figure out where they are. So, but, we would be standing by to help them if needed. And again, we're kind of waiting with our phones in our pockets saying, hey, if you need us, give us a holler. But in the meantime, we are full steam ahead working on next season, and excited about that.
Yeah, and by the way, we got to get back to winning. All right, one more thing, and then I will let you go. And you might not even want to give me an answer on this one, and that is fine.
Okay.
Just as a guy, as a baseball fan, as a fan of big time sports, and I know you are. What are your thoughts on the potential of Major League Baseball in this part of North Carolina? Likely Raleigh is my guess. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, okay. I have a lot of thoughts on that, and I'm glad you've asked me. Nobody really has asked me.
All right.
But, the first thing is I just be really careful about people talking about things that they don't know what they're talking about would be where I would start. And it seems like there's a lot of that going on. First of all, there's a couple of years to go in terms of the MLB bid. There's a variety of strategic decisions that the league is still thinking about and working on. And so, from that perspective, I am not I don't want MLB here type person. And I'm also not yes, this sounds like the best idea ever person. And let me tell you why. And that is because, when you think about what's gone on with all this and the MLB 919 and the governor offering to give Dundon a couple $2 billion for MLB and all that stuff, 2 miles away from where the Carolina, we are a 2-team major league market. Okay. Mm-hmm. We have the Carolina Hurricanes and we have the North Carolina Courage. 2 miles away from the PNC Arena.
Yeah.
Is where some of the finest, best athletic women soccer players in the world train and play. And they play in, I think we're either the 13th or the 14th worst stadium in the league. And it is, I don't think many high schools in Texas have high school football stadiums that aren't better than the North Carolina Courage's stadium. And so I'm a little bit to the point of frustration of, would somebody please give these professional athletes at the NC Courage a little bit of attention?
Yeah.
And maybe we could say, hey, let's really go. So my point is, and how my mind works is let's really prop up the NC Courage and get their facilities into the right position, right, so that they can remain competitive. Again, they're one of the most storied franchises in all of professional sports history in terms of their record.
Mm-hmm.
When people internationally talk about women's soccer franchises, NC Courage is one of them that they talk about internationally, right? And we take it for granted that we have this unbelievable franchise in our backyard. And I am embarrassed about it. And I'm kind of ashamed about it. And I really want to figure out how we can fix that, because I don't want that franchise to have to leave. Right?
Well,
and we have new ownership coming in. Mark Lazary. I've met with he and his team. They are buttoned up. They have the same vision as we do. And I couldn't be more excited about it from that perspective and kind of how everything's going there. But it is so disappointing on the other side to just hear, everybody spinning around the big shiny object of MLB to Raleigh. There's no reality behind it. I don't know who is driving all of the narrative, but, you know, I am happy to talk to anybody that knows more than I do about it. But as far as I'm concerned, let's focus on the family that we have here today and getting them all right. And then we can work on what's going to happen with MLB in Raleigh.
Jimmy Goodman is the president and COO of Capital Broadcasting. I think you're right about the women. They do the best they can over at Wake Med Soccer Park with what they have. I mean, look, I've been there a lot. I've been in there when it's one of the best places to watch anything, anywhere. I've been over there both years with the soccer tournament being here. The facility in terms of the playing surface is amazing. Oh my gosh, it's such a great field.
It's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best playing surface, I think, in the NWSL, and the players will tell you that.
Yep.
Right? And the town of Cary has done a fantastic job, their team. But, you know, think about also that's not a $200 million stadium.
No, it is not.
Right, and that's what we're competing with.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's what the league is. I mean, this is the fastest growing league. This is a giant sports league that's growing faster than anything else.
Yep.
And I still hear people say that we're a one major league team market, right?
I said it earlier, by the way.
Yeah,
I said it earlier. I didn't mean. I don't. I apologize for that. See, I shouldn't have had you on. Now I'm in trouble.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear you say that. Report to HR.
Mike, why doesn't my key work? Why doesn't my key card work, Victoria? It's flashing now.
But seriously, I mean, you know, if you really think of and you look at what's going on in the NWSL and the owners that are coming in and the facilities that are coming, you know, like that we're going to be competing with or already are competing with. First of all, it's not a $2 billion type project, right? We're talking 10% of that.
Right.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
And they're already here, and they're our family. Like, let's take care of them first, and then we'll work on the rest.
Oh, man, we got to do a longer conversation about all of these issues when we can get you in studio, Jimmy Goodman. But you're never going to do this again. I appreciate it anyway. President
Adam, have we been on the radio this whole time? I'm kidding, man. We'll talk soon.
All right, thank you very much. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. So I'm going to go check my card. All right, we have to take a break. Lee Sterling is going to help us out for the weekend coming up in a little bit. Next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The extra help in Medicare savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
My name's Kate Roper, and I live in Leicester, North Carolina. In September of 2023, I had a tumor removed from my left ear, and I just enrolled in NC Medicaid. It was just such a relief knowing that now that I'm covered by NC Medicaid, I don't have to worry about how I'm going to pay for medical treatment now. It's probably saving my life.
See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
Kamala Harris gets that everyday costs are too high. She has real plans to tackle price gouging, cut taxes for middle-class families, and make life more affordable. Her opponent's plan?
Donald Trump plans to impose what is, in effect, a national sales tax. On everyday products, it will mean higher prices on just about every one of your daily needs. A Trump tax on gas, a Trump tax on food, a Trump tax on clothing, a Trump tax on over-the-counter medication. Donald Trump's plan would cost a typical family $3,900 a year. When everyday prices are too high, he will make them even higher.
Kamala Harris, a better plan for lowering costs for a future we can afford. Paid for by FFPAC, ffpac.org, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. FFPAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Some call it overplanning. At Alternative Power, we call it foresight. Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Generac, it's not just a generator, it's a power move. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
The 2024 elections are just around the corner, and older voters are the nation's most active. The AARP North Carolina Voters Guide has information about upcoming election dates, registration deadlines, and voting options in North Carolina, such as voting by mail, early voting, or voting with a disability. Find the guide in the voters section at aarp.org/NC and listen each week to AARP Without Limits for important election news and much more. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Psst. Hello there. It's me, your internal clock. Yes, the one you sleep through on weekends. You've probably heard my TikToks, but I'm straight up sounding the bell now. It's almost time to start applying for college. That means you got transcripts to gather, letters of rec to request, and campus tours to schedule. But hey, we've got time, and we've got CFNC. CFNC.org can help us plan, apply, and pay for college. We got this, trust me. Just visit CFNC.org to help us stay on time.
Visiting the North Carolina Zoo in Asheboro is a family tradition, perfect for fun outdoor adventure. Founded in 1974, this year marks North Carolina Zoo's 50th anniversary, and the zoo is celebrating all year long. Enjoy the antics of the baboon babies, take a ride on the endangered species carousel, and wonder at the massive elephants of the Watani grasslands. Make cherished family memories today. Plan your trip at nczoo.org. Open 7 days a week in Asheboro.
This is Adam Gold.
I had no idea John is a Cubs fan, too.
Yeah, I think that's a prerequisite to being the head coach at Duke. I made one comment about the Cubs to Mike Krzyzewski, goes back a while ago, talked about the pitching staff, and he goes, yeah, but I don't trust Victor Zambrano. Like, what?
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria, you're producing the program, but you know that. Thanks to the boss man. That's really how I should have addressed Mr. Jimmy Goodman.
That's all right.
Who's the president and CEO of the people who pay my salary. Also, they own the Durham Bulls, and I know there's an interest in the North Carolina Courage, and that came up in conversation. He's right, by the way, about we should take care of that. I mean, NCFC and the North Carolina Courage are, under the same umbrella. Although who knows if that remains. I have no idea how. I'm not up on, the business side of new ownership and what. But for me, I've become a huge soccer fan. Enormous soccer fan. In fact, I was at the hockey game the other night, Tuesday night, and I'm walking out, and somebody who works there says, "I'm leaving. I'm going back to your favorite sport." And I thought he was talking about baseball because I've talked a lot about baseball here. It's the only sport I ever played growing up, and as I assumed he was talking about baseball. And he goes, "No, I'm going back to Philadelphia. He's going to go work for MLS team in Philadelphia." And he said, and I'm like, "Oh, that's so cool." So obviously he listens to the show because he knows that we have spent a fair amount of time the last several years kind of as I become more and more of a fan of soccer, it's something that is constantly on my mind. I love the game. I love the sport. And look, I've watched a ton of NC Courage games. Ton of it. And they do. They play at the highest level. Now, they're no longer the best team in the league. And maybe it's because of the facility that they play at, which has slipped down the ladder among, facilities in the league. And the league has expanded. Now we have another league, which at some point, what I'm guessing is that at some point, those two leagues will combine into one league. As long as that USL, I think it's called, as long as they become, I actually don't know what the new league is called, whatever it's called, as long as they, have good footing and whatnot. But they do deserve a better stadium over on, off of, I guess it's Chatham Street? Is it? I don't know what the name of the road is, right? But it's 2 miles from PNC,
Right.
from
It's very close.
Lenovo Center and Carter Finley Stadium. And I wasn't going to correct Jimmy Goodman, not correct, but throw this in. We have far more than just 2 major league franchises here. If we consider the North Carolina Courage, NC Courage, a major league franchise, I'm willing to do that because I think when you have major college athletics in your area code, then you have additional major league franchises. You're not going to tell me that North Carolina, NC State, Duke, football, basketball, to varying degrees, regardless of how successful they are in terms of wins and losses, that's a drain on and I don't mean this in a negative way, but that's a drain on the business community and the entertainment dollars that people have to spend to go to games. So we have a lot of competing, mouths to feed. But the women and NCFC, which again at USL championship level, the second tier of American soccer, the facility is probably in line for the men in terms of competing at the USL championship level. It's probably in line. I'm sure there are facilities that are better, and I'm sure there are facilities that are worse. But the women are playing and this is the top level of professional soccer in the United States for women. And they are clearly playing in one of, if not the worst is not the word I'd use, one of the least attractive facilities in terms of what the fan experience is, comfort of seating, suites, structure, capacity, all of that. And as more and more teams come in, because we are having more and more teams come into the league, and more cities realize the growth of women's sports, which that might be the single greatest area for growth that we have in professional sports. We see what the WNBA has done, right, with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and a lot of other new players. When Juju Watkins comes in, my gosh, the sport it's going to be growing like crazy over the next several years. And the more we become into the women's game in soccer, and we already are, we have the best national program in the world. They just proved that by winning the Olympics again. And I assume under Emma Hayes, they'll continue to start, getting back to being the team to beat in the World Cup. They weren't this past time. They had a rough year, and it was, in terms of personnel, a transition year. It's time for Wake Med Soccer Park to either have a stadium built around it, like right where that pitch is and the practice facilities. They have everything. My son actually just played a high school match on one of the back fields, Field 2, which is a field right behind the stadium. And they play high school matches out there. It's the greatest playing surface you're going to play on anywhere. It's almost like a golf course. It's so good. But if you want to attract the best players in the world to come and play there, whether it's to sign as a free agent or not request a trade out because of facilities or other reasons, and you got to treat these women like they are in a major league professional sport. So Jimmy Goodman was right. That they deserve a better home field, home base, home stadium. All right, it's time to see if we can't get ahead of the monthly obligations. And for that, we bring in Lee Sterling, Paramount Sports. He joins us every Thursday at this time. Real quick, before we start, give me an idea. What are we looking at? What is our record for the year?
So far, we are hitting almost 60%, a little over 59%. We had that promotion last week, 5 for 55. On Saturday and Sunday, we went a combined 8 and 2, went 4 and 1 each day. Woo! So hopefully we keep it going here and getting into the meat and potatoes of conference play finally.
And 59%, by the way, is ahead.
Oh, you have to hit 52.38 to actually make money. So anyone telling you they hit 70, 75, 80%, it can't be done.
Well, I mean, it can be done, but not over the long haul.
No.
That they don't keep building casinos,
right?
Because we.
And I don't know if you saw this. This was really interesting. Last month, 85% of the money won by sports books in Vegas were off of parlays.
Really?
I'll tell you, don't bet parlays. It's just simple math. I mean, this is like 6th, 7th grade math.
Right.
If the odds on winning a 2-team parlay are only 25%, and they're paying you 13-5, not even 3-1, and a 3-team parlay, the odds are 8-1, and they're only paying 6-1, you know, you're going to go broke pretty quick.
Yes, that's why we tell people to do this responsibly. All right, let's start with the Wolfpack that are making a trip out to Berkeley to take on Cal. I think Cal's good. They haven't even had their best running back for most of the season. NC State, you can run on them. We all know that. Wolfpack defense has been kind of a sieve. What do you think?
Jaden Ott may play in this game, but he's still not 100%. We haven't seen the best of him yet. This is the first time NC State's gone to California since 1960. So I think that they're going to do okay here. I think they've got a chance. I think Cal's overrated. Every Cal game seems like comes right down to the end here. C.J. Bailey, they were moving the ball up and down, making turnovers key times here, and just got to make it to the bye week, NC State. 8th straight game without a bye. I just don't think Cal has the explosiveness. I think Cal wins 28-24. I'll take NC State plus the points. Wouldn't surprise me if they went outright.
Yeah, Cal, by the way, has been just good enough to lose, right? They've basically had a bunch of come-from-ahead losses. Let me stay in the ACC, Miami and Louisville. I know Miami's got Florida State next week. I don't know if look ahead is a real thing. But if they are looking ahead, this is where they're going to get beat.
And this is Louisville's Super Bowl. This Louisville team, 2 of their best 3 players hail from Miami. Isaac Brown from Homestead, true freshman running back, 300-yard games already. And Ja'Cory Brooks, who he went to Southridge, and then started at Alabama. So they're going to be motivated. They've got weapons galore, running back, wide receiver. They go 4 or 5 deep. Yeah, Cam Ward's great. Tied for first in the nation with 20 touchdown passes. But Miami's defense is a question mark, especially the defensive backs. They have 2 defensive backs that rate in the bottom 5 out of almost 300 qualifying defensive backs. So I think Louisville's going to push the ball down the field here. Miami 0-3 after the bye under Mario Cristobal. Make it 0-4. Wrong team favored, Louisville outright, 38-37.
Wow, wow, that's that man getting Cristobal already. That's that would be bad for the Atlantic Coast Conference. I've been asking people this all week, and I want to get to a couple of pro games. Clemson, is Clemson for real? They certainly have looked the part, but against questionable competition. Your thoughts?
I think that they have. I think that they're playing the best football right now, but Virginia has a quarterback just run around and make things happen. And how about this? Since the coaching change in Virginia, best covering team, 12-5-1 against the spread in the ACC. I'll take Virginia. I think Clemson wins 38-24. 20 points too much.
Tony Elliott, friendly to those people who like a little action. Panthers are in Washington, and they're going to have to deal with Jaden Daniels. I know Washington's coming off the loss to the Ravens, but I thought that was a fun game. Baltimore's just one of those, one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the entire league. I don't think Washington's at that level. Certainly the Panthers are not. How are the Panthers going to stop Jaden Daniels?
Well, it's going to be tough. He is that good, but that was an emotional game for Washington. They might play it off as something else, but they wanted to beat Baltimore bad, even though it's not a division game. They lost their best defensive lineman in that game, Jonathan Allen, to a torn pec muscle. That's a huge loss here. How about this? Underdogs getting 5.5 or more points this year, 28-1. So over 71% with 13 outright victories. I think Washington escapes here, 28-24. I'll take the points.
Yeah, and Washington's defense, you mentioned Jonathan Allen out. Washington's defense has been a little bit shaky anyway. And I think if there's one thing the Panthers, as long as they don't turn it over, can do, I think their offense actually, with Andy Dalton and Chuba Hubbard and some emerging young wide receivers and tight ends, could actually be a problem for Washington. I am a big fan of this Commanders, but I think you're right. I think this could be a little bit difficult. All right, one more game. We've got number 5 Georgia playing at top-ranked Texas. I'm looking at this as a playoff. If Georgia were to lose this game and now have 2 losses with some difficult games still left on their schedule, what does that mean? We're not looking at it in those terms, you and I. Is Texas that good? Because I think Georgia, maybe Carson Beck isn't as good as we thought.
So I think we know at least what Georgia's A game looks like, and that was against Clemson. They won 34-3 and held Clemson to 188 total yards. Since that game, Clemson's put up between 405 and 712 yards. I'm just not sure how good Texas is. I think they have great talent, but they played a Michigan team, number 131 as far as pass offense, and in Oklahoma, maybe the worst Oklahoma team we've seen in 2 decades. So other than that, they played a bunch of directional schools, and sometimes it's not who you play, it's how you match up and when you play. I think Georgia's backs are against the wall here. I'm not going to take the bait here. I think Georgia's the most desperate team. I think we might see another instant classic like Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State and Oregon last week. Georgia pulls off the stunner 30-27 over Texas.
30-27. We have 2 situations of wrong team favored. Man, I love that. You should put that on T-shirts. Lee Sterling at Paramount Sports. Go check him out. ParamountSports.com. Lee, I appreciate your time, man. We'll talk again next week.
Sounds good. Take care.
You got it. Lee Sterling here on the Adam Gold Show. See, he should. Wrong team favored. T-shirts, mugs, toques.
I know.
I use the term toque, not toboggan.
I'll have to email him and see which girl fight he was going to pick because we have UFC Vegas 99 this weekend.
I didn't know that.
So he said he's going to pick between. We have a couple good girl fights, so I'll have to see what he does and report back.
Girl fights?
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking? Is that how we talk about it? Girl fights?
The lady fights.
Okay. Well, it is what it is. All right, we are in that season, right? If you watch TV. You are probably, like all of us, sick and tired. Can we please vote? Can we please vote and get this over with? I want the commercials to stop, right? But I will say this, and I've got about 30 seconds. Harrison Butker, kicker for the Chiefs, has formed a political action committee. And I am curious if the stick to sports set is okay with this. I am fine with it, 100% fine with it, because I don't believe that there should ever be a separation of life. Politics are a part of that, and sports. I think it's all intertwined. I welcome all of it, whether you agree with me or I agree with you. It's your civic right, in fact, your civic duty, to make your thoughts known. Thank you. Bye.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. Gordon invented the no closing cost mortgage. That's right. Somebody had to. Somebody invented the wheel. And if you think about it, the no closing cost mortgage is like the wheel of personal